Happy Friday Night Live, everybody. It is a pleasure to be joined by my hubby, Dr. B. Some of you may know him. Some of you may be introduced to him, on the stream for the first time. We are doing a chill chat with us stream this evening. I asked some questions of the members over on Patreon. You can't play footsie with me while we're streaming.
Already, you're into my
So
side.
that's what tonight's going to be like. So welcome. It's been, here in the US, it's been Thanksgiving week. It is, from the DA's office, it was the only day that we got 2 days off back to back. The only one. You got Thursday and Friday off. So Thanksgiving has always been a nice slow time for us, and it was a slow time for our family. It was so good. My kids' high school football team is footballing, but it was far away and cold. So we're here. And I can't wait for it. So, Dr. B, do you want to go say hi before we roll the intro? Do you want to just say hi?
Oh, when you said go say hi, I felt like I had to go somewhere.
Do you want to say hi?
I literally almost got up.
No, we're getting static from somewhere. Hold on. Where are we getting static from? Give me 1 second.
You're saying we have static.
Literally everyone.
Really?
Darling. We are professionals.
Yeah.
Hopefully that fixed it. Did that fix it? I'm sorry for the mics. We have them far enough apart that it shouldn't be a problem. If it's a cord issue, we'll solve it in a little bit. So, welcome.
Yes.
We are professionals here. It's going to be like that. Look, we do not have a studio set up for two people. We just don't have a studio set up for two. So we squeeze in here. We're on stools, and we're going to just...
The first time we're actually on stools. Normally you're in your blue chair, and I am squeezing in next to you.
Yeah, so I gave up a little bit of my comfort.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's love.
Now I feel like I'm not like just squished in the corner of the desk.
He's like, I feel like I matter. Well, cheers.
Yeah, so
cheers, Law Nerds. I hope you're having a good Friday wherever this finds you. I've got peanut butter whiskey. Dr. B's got, I don't know,
salted watermelon.
Yeah, that. And it's time to roll the intro and get going. So we're going to chat. And as I said, we ask questions. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on around the internet. Dr. B's internet knowledge is low. Like, my son and I will be talking, and he's like, what are you guys talking about? We're like, it's a meme. He's like, what's a meme? And I'm like, oh, mother of God.
I still really don't understand what a meme is. Why can't you just say a joke?
It's not, a joke. Though.
Just say it's a joke. It's like a print joke or an internet joke or something.
It's a cartoon, but with a picture.
There we go. Like the Far Side? Like a Far Side cartoon. See?
We're going to roll the intro and chat. We're going to try to explain memes to Dr. B, who's just going to sit here and boomer it up, and it's going to be fantastic. What? He knows what boomer means. That's why he's giving me that look. All right, let's roll. We'll get to some super chats.
Oh, I thought you called out the chupacabra.
Yes. Yes, I did. Let's roll the intro. Good Lord. Oh, y'all, it's top secret. Dr. B doesn't know what the new soundboard does. So we're going to drop that at some point in the chat and see what happens. I can't wait. Let's roll the intro. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. See, what Dr. B doesn't realize is I can still do this, and we can just have a little Friday night stream. Isn't B Gen X? Yeah, Dr. B is Gen X. Whatever do you meme exactly? It's gonna be that kind of night. Yep. So for those of you asking
Oh, you did not do that.
Didn't mean to.
Oh my God, I feel like we were listening to Kevin and Bean with lightning on the soundboard.
I hit the wrong button. It's going to be that kind of a night. Look, I have not pre-gamed this stream at all. It's going to happen. Is Dr. B an actual doctor? It depends on your definition of doctor. So Dr. B will get deeply offended if we say he's not a real doctor. He is a maxillofacial prostodontist. So he is a dental specialist with education plus. But there are those that like to be like, oh, a dentist isn't a doctor. Really it's like, guess who you're going to call if your face hurts? A dentist. It's true.
It's a tooth related.
I don't know. You've had people come after skateboard crashes,
Oh yeah.
after getting in fights at the bars on the weekend. You used to have a ton of business right before Thanksgiving where people were like, I have to go see my family. And this thing just popped out a veneer, a
The tooth.
tooth,
Something.
whatever. Like, I can't,
Yeah.
I have to. And so he's like, yeah, we're booked. But it was always super busy right before Thanksgiving. People needing to like get their face right before they go and see their family. I mean, that's how everybody feels before they go see
Isn't
their
it?
family.
Yeah.
We
Family's
didn't.
stressful enough. Can you imagine going without a front tooth?
Oh, it's like, what happened to your face? It's like, well, there was that one Saturday that we're not going to talk about. Anyway, so yes, Dr. B, actual doctor. That's why we call him Dr. B, real doctor. They're trying to steal him. There's a local dental school that is trying to steal him to go teach. And I keep fighting because I need him here. So that's going to happen. I'm going to lose badly, but that's all right.
You've already lost.
I mean, 20 plus years of marriage, maybe that's I'm teasing. No, we haven't already lost. We've already won so much, but Dr. B has been very, very, very busy. So Dr. B did all kinds of stuff. Somebody's like, I just broke a molar. Coincidence? No, your teeth do that on purpose
Because you're traveling and you're out of the area and
Yep.
you're not by your normal dentist and you're with your family.
Yep. So anyway, we've got a few super chats. The DUI guy, thank you so much for the super chat. That's very kind. Cheers to you. I hope you are having
Is that the ritual?
what?
Is that the ritual? Do you have to?
No, we don't drink for super chats. I've done that once on a stream. It was a terrible idea. It was a lot of fun at the moment. That was back when I was streaming from the kitchen table in our old house. And
I remember that show. Oh, yeah,
and you would get very frustrated because our house, we had a 900 square foot house before we moved. I loved our house. We had an ocean view. We had like a corner lot. It was lovely. It was our little cottage. It was so quaint until 2020 when everyone was in the house at the same time. And then you're like, oh, this isn't enough space.
Travis was in the garage all the time.
I was in the garage all the time, and he's trying to do homework and I'm trying to work and Griffin's trying to do schoolwork. It was just constantly a thing. But I would stream at the kitchen table and Dr. B would be like, you're so fucking loud. And I'd be like, I'm not trying to be loud. I'm just trying to stream. And so I got booted to the garage and it was fine most of the time. But there were definitely times when it was either too hot or too cold. And then there was that one time I was working in the garage and we got invaded. Do you remember when we got invaded? I screamed like I was being murdered. No one in the house heard me. No one cared. I was like, oh, if somebody kills me in my garage, no one's going to notice because I screamed and screamed and screamed. And then by the time I escaped the invaders in the garage and got back into the house, everybody was like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like,
we're like, I thought we heard something out back. Did something happen?
There was a commotion.
Yes, I think we did say a commotion.
I was invaded. And look, first of all, I'm a little jumpy. We've talked about that in the chat before. I struggle with PTSD. We've talked about that in the chat before. I get very jumpy. Like even with Dr. B coming into the office, he will flick the light switch so I know he's there. If I get snuck up on, I am very jumpy. And it's not a reaction I like, but it's something if my kids sneak up on me, like if I have a curtain in the office so I can't see people coming because also it'll distract the ADHD. I do not like being snuck up on. If something comes in and I don't know it's there, it freaks me out. So I'm in the garage. It's kind of warm. It's Southern California. So we've got, a breeze going through the garage. The door to the garage is open. This was a detached garage. The door to the garage is open.
Door.
Not the garage door. The
little
back
just
door.
like glass door we had
like
in the
a
garage.
Normal doorway door because it's a detached garage from the house. Well, it was attached, but you had to go around the house to get into the garage. So the door is open to our backyard, which is gated. So it's not like people are going to come in into the garage. So I'm in the office and I've got my headphones on. I'm doing my work and I hear just a light noise enough through my headphones that I turn around and there is a family of raccoons and Mama Raccoon is the biggest raccoon I have ever seen in my life. And then there are baby raccoons. There were 3 baby raccoons in the garage. And it's like me at my desk in the corner. If any of you have seen my old tech videos, it was these shelves, but then my desk in the corner. And then like they were right there. And I started screaming. And the mom raccoon starts hissing at me like she wants to fucking fight.
Was it like that scene in Elf when he sees the raccoon and he's like, "Oh, come here, you."
No.
And then the raccoon's like,
the raccoon was like that. I was not like, "Oh, come here." I was like, just screaming. It caught me off guard and I was terrified. I was terrified. So invaded by mama and baby raccoons. And I'm like yelling at the raccoon to get out. And the raccoon is like, "Bitch, fight me. I live here now. Fight me. And she's got babies with her. So I'm like, this raccoon is going to like claw my face. Chelsea is like so not friend shaped.
they lived underneath our deck.
They're kind of cute, actually. It became a whole thing. It's the little hands. It's the little hands that kind of freaked me out. The little like human-like hands. Because then the next day we had a hand incident. But I'm screaming at the raccoon. The raccoon will not leave, and I am trying to like be bigger than the raccoon. I grew up in Southern California, man. My instances with wildlife before we moved to Tennessee were few and far between, and mostly when I worked at Girl Scout camp, and that one camper brought food, even though we tell them not to bring food, and ended up with a bear in her tent. But even then, I had backup. So I was all by myself, screaming in my garage, looking for like something to throw at the raccoons.
What is the backup to a bear?
Did
you have like other camp counselors?
They had other camp counselors, and then they
so
had
you're
like
all just gonna stand around screaming at the bear?
We didn't.
That's your backup?
I mean, we kind of did just stand around and scream at the bear.
Emotional support.
When they let 20-year-olds be in charge of campers at camp. I thought it was a great idea. Anyway, I'm screaming at the raccoon. The raccoon, I try to move towards it. It's hissing at me. It finally leaves. I was so freaked out. And so by the time it leaves, I get into the house and I am rattled. I mean, not as rattled as the time there were 2 cockroaches in my JW Marriott hotel room, but that is a story for another day. I am rattled and no one had heard me. No one had heard me.
I don't want to say we didn't hear you. We just
Nobody
really
gave a
didn't-
shit.
We really didn't know how to interpret what we heard, and since
So they just ignored it. They just ignored it.
pretty much so.
I almost died.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I almost died. Pretty sure I almost died. Y'all would have been sad.
Yeah, they live underneath our deck.
So the next day, I tell them the raccoon story. The next day, the raccoons are under the deck, and Dr. B is doing something on the deck, and there's just
we had a board that popped loose on the deck, so I had to take the screws out, put new screws in.
He was doing the thing.
And there's like a little bit of a gap between each board because they're spaced out. And so I'm like on the deck on one knee, got the drill out. I'm putting the drill in, and like a pair of black hands like come out between the board. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I look down and there's like this giant black eyeball like staring back up at me and a bunch of other eyeballs. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was Brian.
What?
When you talk with your hands, you can't hit the mic.
It was like a gong.
It was like a gong. That was
impressive.
That was you. Yeah. That was you. You gonged it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was
So
not.
does that
thrilled.
what happened? Like my story wasn't good, so I got gonged, and your story's good, so you kept going.
You
Or is it
gonged
like,
yourself.
Is it like the gong show here?
You gonged yourself. You're the one who hit your mic.
Yeah, I
That's
did.
your mic that's gonging. I'm not gonging
I
you.
thought for a moment you gonged me like on the board over there. Like you had a button ready for me. You're like last week's stream. You're
Cry
like,
more.
man, I can't wait till he comes on. I'm gonna gong his ass.
I really didn't think about it that far in advance. I've been busy playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had we had the deck closed so that things couldn't like go live under it, because I was worried that things would find their way under the deck and like have babies or whatever, which we didn't need in our yard. But invariably, we ended up with a family of raccoons living under the deck, and then we just coexisted peacefully. We were like, you don't bother us, we won't bother you. Oh, except for the time that they ate the rodents out of the trap. That was.
I thought you couldn't have gone with like the Easter candy incident. You had to go with that one.
Hey, Dr. B.
What?
You have to keep your mouth towards the mic and look at the camera, because when you turn to talk to me, then we can't hear you unless we bring this closer to you.
All right, I gotcha.
I know he's not made for.
I am
He's
not.
not
I'm
made for
not.
radio.
I'm not a trained professional.
Do we have Violet or Scarlet? We have both because Griffin wanted to play. Well, Griffin and I both wanted to play Violet, and so Griffin's playing Violet. I'm playing Scarlet, and then we will swap after we do a walkthrough. There was the one time that there was a lot of construction going on in our neighborhood, and we ended up with groundhogs.
Gophers.
Gophers. Groundhogs, Tennessee. Gophers, the little ones. We ended up with gophers. And so we had traps come out to trap the gophers and take them out because they were digging up our yard. What?
We had the trappers come out. The traps did not come out themselves. They didn't get in the truck and drive themselves.
Well, actually, we hired the pest control, and pest control brought the traps. Emily, we did not actually bring the traps. Pest control brought the traps. Why don't you tell the story then?
No. I mean, you're doing great.
Obviously, I'm not.
I love how you started.
You thought I was talking about sentient rodent traps, so obviously we haven't done a great job.
No, I thought you were talking as in the traps were actively drove themselves out to our house themselves.
Yes, sentient traps.
Yeah, when you use those SAT words, I can't follow you.
Sir, ridiculous. We get traps for the gophers because the gophers are digging the shit out of our yard, and I didn't want to break an ankle.
Annihilated our
and
yard.
I knew I would too. I'm the person, and people would be like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, I was walking in my front yard to get a package from Amazon, and I broke my foot. Like that would happen to me. So I was like, okay, we need to get the traps. So we got the traps. They come out, and all of a sudden there is commotion in the front. Do you remember what attracted us to the window?
I don't know. I think it was the theme of Wild Wild Kingdom playing in the house. And something just happened where it just seemed like something was going on.
The raccoons got to the trap and found a way to eat the gopher in the trap with their little hands. They
ended up reaching their hands.
They got the gopher out of the trap and ate it. There were intestines in our yard in the morning. It wasn't the first time. There were like animal parts, animal body parts in like carnage in our yard. It had happened a number of other times before. So,
and by far the worst one was when we actually hid the Easter candy outside.
These motherfuckers. I'm adjusting my mic. You need to tell the story about these motherfuckers. Motherfuckers.
There was not a single scrap of candy left, but there were wrappers just all over the yard.
They got into all the plastic Easter eggs.
Yeah.
They cracked every fucking egg. And this had not happened at our previous house. And we moved 3 times within the same town that's this big. Our town had 16,000 people in it. It is a small ass town. Like my son's friend, like his closest friend in town was my ex-boyfriend from high school's older sister. Like it is a small ass town where people have lived for generations and everybody grew up together. So we moved 3 times in the same town, and this was a whole nother adventure.
And we even taped the plastic eggs shut.
Some of them.
Closed. No, all of them. All of them got a little piece of tape on them. And boy, the raccoons just decimated, broke the plastic, ripped everything apart. There were wrappers everywhere. But the thing was, I remember when we were outside looking at it, there were our neighbors down the street who had kids as well. They were out in their front yard looking around at just the carnage that occurred.
They hit the whole street.
Yeah.
It was like some fucking, it was just the trash bandits bandited the entire street. So, the raccoons work hard, man. They were definitely working towards that Easter candy, but they earned it. Mm-hmm. Our kids were like, oh, sad. But it wasn't just them, because we also had massive crows and a few other types of birds of prey, some little falcons and stuff. So occasionally a rodent would get decimated on our rooftop. That was never a good time. This house.
Do you remember?
Yes. Horrible. This was horrible. I was out working in the garage.
Oh no, go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
No, you already shifted into second gear on that story. You might as well keep going.
The wildlife and the garage is called this chapter of our life, the wildlife and the garage. Look, the only wildlife that comes into this office are the paw nerds and their invited guests. No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to comment even before this. Is this normally how your shows go, that you grab onto a nugget of something and you just run with it?
He doesn't watch. This is how our members only live streams go.
Oh, it is? Like,
We often talk about the law, but this is how our members only live streams go. You're
hmm.
distracting us to talk about the animals in the house. I'm teasing. You're not. It's not you.
So was it a squirrel or a rat?
It was a little mouse.
A
It
little
was like a
mouse.
little field mouse.
So if you know in your garage where you have the vents that let the hot air go out, and it usually has a grate on it. So basically like a
Chevy asks, has he just met you? No, this is how all our conversations go. He shouldn't be surprised.
so in our roof we had little vents for the garage so the hot air could go out. So it came out, it had a fence. So basically a little not chain fence, but a little
You're not
grate.
explaining to me.
Okay.
I lived at this
Yeah.
house.
All right.
You're
Well, don't worry.
explaining to the law nerds. He's like, we don't stream together. I'm like, you don't look at the camera.
It's because I'm captivated by you.
Lies. No, actually true.
So this is when Emily was actually working in the garage, and she heard something like thump on the roof, and then little claws running,
And then screaming.
like small rodents screaming.
Screaming. And a massive crow had dropped a mouse. The mouse had gotten into the vent to the garage. The crow was on the outside, and then there was mesh preventing the mouse from getting into the garage. So the mouse was literally trapped up against the mesh and the crow on the outside. So then I'm outside with like a broom trying to get up onto the little like pony wall, trying to like yell at the crow. The crow was like, bitch, please. And just
Yeah,
went
that
to
comes hungry.
literally went to the telephone pole and just sat up there and watched our roof the rest of the day. He would come back and I would hear the crow up on the thing and I would get rid of him. I don't know what happened that night, but the mouse was gone in the morning and so was the crow. So I don't think it ended well for the
No, probably not.
for the mouse. People are like, is Dr. B at least sub to the channels? I don't think so. There was a day I was finishing premiering a podcast and he's like, oh, wait, what is going on? It was the Girardi Arrest podcast, the episode before I had Jay Edelson on. Wait, what is going on with that? So in the middle of premiering the podcast, as I am chatting with y'all, Dr. B's like, wait, no, I've missed a whole bunch. I'm like, I've been talking about it for months. He's like, could you just like give me the TLDR? And I was like, no, go listen to the podcast.
Okay, I'm kind of figuring out what a meme is, but what's a TLDR?
Oh my God, stop playing footsie with me.
I'm not. Your leg keeps coming over.
Your leg keeps coming
we need
over.
We need to get the other chair back for you. At least you were contained in that one.
I'm not well enough contained.
No, you're just,
I will show you containment later.
like I have to keep scooting over. Next, I'm going to be off camera in a little while.
You need to be
'cause you're
leaning this
taking-
way.
'cause you're taking all the space.
I do that. I do that. But the TLDR is the too long didn't read.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
That's all.
Oh, is that what you send back to someone, or someone was too long? Do you put like TLDR? Is that like supposed to be? I don't understand. Nobody texts me anything that would be too long to didn't read. I mean, I would read it.
The TLDR is like, can you give me the quick, fast version of what you're talking about? Like with the Girardis, can you give me the quick summary of what the fuck happened? I'm like, there is no summary of what happened. It's like the Cliff's Notes, but not for old people. The TLDR is the Cliff's Notes.
Cliff Notes I get.
Cliffs. Isn't it Cliffs? Is it Cliff? I thought it was
Cliffs?
Cliffs. Is it Cliff's Notes or Cliff Notes? It's Cliffs. Oh,
Is it
don't Google.
plural?
Let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll.
Is it plural because there's more than one Cliff Note?
I don't know, but I think I remember that it's Cliff's Notes, not Cliff Notes.
Mhm.
But we should put up a poll and see how everybody remembers it, and then we'll Google it later. I'm loving this stream. The Bakers are just so awesomely adorable together. We annoy the shit out of our children.
True.
They're like, Mom, Dad, what? Today we were talking about the freezing point of vodka.
Because
So-
that's the conversations at our house.
Yep. It was, what
Yes.
is the freezing point of vodka? It's like, well, water freezes and this freezes and that freezes. And does everything freeze? And I'm like, well, everything can freeze. And so our 14-year-old is like, well, does everything? Like I don't know how the subject came up of does everything freeze? And Brian's like, well, we've had a bottle of vodka in the freezer since we moved because,
2 bottles of vodka.
well, one's watermelon vodka.
No, still vodka.
Well, where else do you keep the vodka if not the freezer?
Yes.
And technically, there's 2 bottles of vodka frozen in the inside freezer and 2 in the
Yes.
outside freezer. So actually, there's 4 bottles of vodka. So we were talking about the freezing temp of vodka, but what was it?
minus
'Cause
16 degrees Fahrenheit.
y'all looked it up.
Yeah.
So y'all looked it up. We got to do some super chats, and then I'm sure we have more to talk about, but that's what it is. Jazz said Law and Lumber beat you to the 8 p.m. start. I know Law and Lumber picked up the Friday streams when we picked up the football season, and I appreciate it so much. And I was like, Rob, I'm sorry. We promised we would do a quick stream, so we might go pop over there at the end of this. Question, Dr. B, what is the funniest thing someone has said when coming up out of anesthesia? I can tell you what Dr. B has said when coming up out of anesthesia, but I don't know if he wants that story told on the internet. So
I don't mind.
you
I
have
normally did not put
people
people to sleep, and people were not asleep in my office, so I did not have that pleasant experience.
But you would go when they would do surgeries. You would go to the oral surgeon's office.
Mhm.
Did you leave before people?
No,
were
I
out
was
of
I was
anesthesia?
I was always there working afterwards, trying to put either their implant crowns in, implant abutments.
You were cleaning
whatever.
up.
Yeah, I had to finish up my work, so they were usually already awake by then, because they would have to be.
So
I
he was
could
not
do-
seeing people coming out of anesthesia.
Yeah.
Dr. B says all kinds of shit when coming out of anesthesia. And what's funny is that the one time he said the really inappropriate thing coming out of anesthesia, he continues to tell that story when he comes out of anesthesia. He's like, have I said anything embarrassing? And everyone's like, no, you've been just so great. He's like, well, great, because this one time. And then it just starts over. Question, what are the chances of getting Control F yourself on a black hat? Sincerely, an IT major. Phoenix, chances good. We can do that. We can do that. We can do a Control and a Command F yourself on a black hat. I will make a note. No, Dr. B will make a note, and then
Yeah.
he'll tell Chris.
Already did.
Sarah, smiling, you inspired me to have a pumpkin pie for breakfast. Huh? We got to tell that story. It was perfect. Eating leftovers now and having a sensible and legal happy Friday.
I will admit I have been enjoying pumpkin pie. Apple pie is my other favorite. I've been
Oh,
enjoying.
no.
No, I've been doing pumpkin pie for probably about the last 7 days.
This was the perfect
Yeah, like the
relationship when it started.
Pumpkin pie.
Let me
Pre-pumpkin Thanksgiving pie.
tell you why this was perfect. So Thanksgivings have been like quiet. Thanksgiving has been so great. I miss seeing our immediate family both. I miss seeing them on Thanksgiving. I do not miss traveling. I do not miss balancing 4 different family events on the same day. I do not miss any of that.
Being in traffic, driving, getting up.
Straddling the leg of somebody's table. I do not miss any of that. I really loved having a very quiet Thanksgiving at home where we get to make the food that we want, which is like Brussels sprouts and broccoli and au gratin potatoes not mashed and a roast instead of turkey because no one at our house likes turkey. We don't do any of the shoulds. It's like, it's Thanksgiving, you should eat this. We're like, the only thing we must eat on Thanksgiving are literally crescent rolls. Everything else is flexible except the pumpkin pie. So when Brian and I started dating 100 million years ago, back when the years still started with 19, we would rotate where we were going for Thanksgiving, and his mom would always make him a homemade apple pie because apple pie is his favorite. He's like, I don't eat pumpkin pie, it's disgusting. And I was like,
it looks gross. Texture,
it's
just
baby
awful.
food, whatever. I was like, this is perfect. I'll take the leftover pumpkin pie. You take the entire ass apple pie that your mother made you. Delicious, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You take the whole apple pie. I'll take the whole pumpkin pie. It's perfect. What year was it that you decided pumpkin pie was for you?
Maybe 2000, right? Maybe I think, and it's actually
no. It was well after we were married, and we were married in
Really?
2002. It was years after we were married because there were all the years that we went to Thanksgiving before the pregnant pumpkin pie season when we tasted every single pumpkin pie that was made in the entire South Bay because it was pumpkin pie season.
Was it Seattle?
It wasn't. It was after Seattle.
I think it was back at your folks' house. So probably
It must have been like 2008 or later. Anyway, Brian decided he was going to try the pumpkin pie, and he was like,
what is this
This is so
magic?
good.
This is unbelievable. Why have I been missing out on this so many years?
So now we have to fight for the pumpkin pie.
We've actually bought 3 pumpkin pies this year. 4?
Mhm.
Wait, where'd the one go? Are you hiding one somewhere?
Oh, you've been eating it for breakfast, darling. That was the first one. It was the first one and then the other three.
No, I only bought other two.
Oh.
Yeah.
We might need to go back and get another one.
Maybe. Tell you,
Pump-
Trader Joe's, really good pumpkin pie.
Their pumpkin pie was
Yeah.
legit. We weren't ready to elbow it out with people, and Brian was like, "Oh, I'm going to pre-order the pie." I'm like, "Great!" And then he went to go pick up the pie that he hadn't pre-ordered, and they were like, "Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Those are sold out. You need to get in line in the morning before we open." And he's like, "I really like the Trader Joe's ones." I'm like, "Me too."
And the funny thing is you were over there at Starbucks at 10 o'clock, roughly 10 o'clock, when the pie shop opened, and you said the line was down the block, what, like 40?
The line was around the little like area where that is. It was quite a substantial line, and there was an ambulance outside, and I figured people had just gotten into it trying to
Yeah.
get pie, but
Yeah.
it's probably not the
Yeah,
case.
they like pumpkin pie.
They gotta love
Yeah.
that. Look, that pie place is delish, but I really do. And we didn't do a Costco pie this year because they're so hard to store in the fridge. But now that our teen has decided that pumpkin pie is delicious,
Worst thing we ever did
N-
is introduce that kid to pumpkin pie.
he was like,
But
we encourage our kids to try food, and then they try shit we like, and then they eat it all. And I'm like, God damn it! I liked it better when they're like, "Can I just have chicken nuggets?"
see, now I need
Now
to
we
look,
have to share.
now I need to look to see if he's here. Okay. He likes whipped cream on his pumpkin pie. I did not buy whipped cream, so he's not had a single slice.
That's true.
So we have just been enjoying it.
That's not strictly your fault because we asked him, "Do you want us to pick up whipped cream for you for your pie?" And he's like, "Whatever."
Eh,
All right, well, whatever leaned towards no this time.
Yep.
So now the whole family, except for the youngest, likes pumpkin pie. Next year, we're going to have to get the Costco size pumpkin pie because it's delicious. And then this year, we're traveling over Christmas, which is nice. So we don't have to do any of the things. I'm really excited.
No. I just thought of this. Do we ever eat pumpkin pie for Christmas? Do they even make them at that point? Can you even get one?
Okay, pumpkin pie is not hard to make. You
All right,
can still
well.
get pumpkin pie at Christmas. I think pumpkin season goes till Christmas, but pumpkin season needs to go through at least the end of November. Christmas has been encroaching, and this has been a large issue of contention with our family. Last night we were sitting down to watch a movie. Griffin wanted to watch something, and then I realized there was a Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell Christmas movie on Apple Plus that's a retelling of
Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol. Thank you.
Mhm.
He was like, "What are you trying to say?" And I'm like,
I know.
my brain, say the words of A Christmas Carol. And I was like, I am so in. I was so ready to watch it. And our kids are like, ugh, it's not Christmas yet. And so our kids are very bah humbug right now. Very bah humbug.
Because I made them unload the Christmas decorations from storage or the closet this morning.
Yeah. And the
And
kids
they just
had
didn't
the
want to have it.
exact same response. Ugh, it's not December yet. I'm like, we're traveling in December. We got to put the Christmas decorations up there. And they're just like, no. We're going to do a
Yeah.
few more. We're going to do a few more super chats and then get into regular questions. If you guys have a question, just put a QR question in front of it and I will try to grab it. We are not just answering super chats and members' questions. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. Dr. B, what's a normal day in y'all's house look like? Does it include lots of Emily breaking out into random songs? That's what I picture.
Yeah, our house is like a high school musical most of the
No.
times. Why
It's
did
not
I
just me that breaks out into
why did I
songs.
start singing yesterday? And then the kids were screaming at me to stop. You said something to me, and a song just came out.
A song
yeah.
to your heart. What were we watching that you were like, why is this a musical? Disenchanted. We were jacking
yeah.
around about
Yeah.
Disenchanted. So Brian started singing and the kids were like, shut up.
Literally.
Stop it. So we watched Enchanted and then Disenchanted. It was really, really funny. I enjoyed it. We
good.
laughed. The kids left and went upstairs and we were like, "Aw, this is funny." It's like she moves to the suburbs and is having an identity crisis. Who can relate to that? I can relate to that. So the kids, on the other hand, didn't.
So does
relate quite
Emily
as much.
randomly break out into song at home? No, not really. Unfortunately, no. Yeah, maybe we need to work on that.
I do break out into song, but I'm working most of the day, so we don't chat much during the day.
Yeah, you're over
At
here.
all.
You're over here in the cone of silence and the soundproof room. So I just don't hear
You
it.
make it sound like
Yeah.
a padded room. It is though. It kind of is. It's great. but they don't want to hear me. They don't want to hear me streaming in the rest of the house because I can get really, really, really loud.
It's really the cursing we just don't want the kids to hear.
What the fuck are you talking about? We can bring the censor button into real life. It's just like, what the are you talking about? Anyway, sing all the time. Yes, I try to keep it under my breath most of the time, but it does happen at home. But our days are pretty busy because work is pretty busy. So it depends on the day, but I am in my office quite a lot during the days. So
and quite a bit of the night.
It depends on the night. But yes, look, I feel like I've been playing catch up since the Depp v. Heard trial. So riveting content, Dr. B, riveting content. Question, why doesn't the judge use the gavel and shout order during the Brooks trial? The judge was trying not to aggravate that defendant who she seemed a little intimidated by because she had read his psychological report. So I think the judge, knowing his full psychopathy, is that the right way to say that? Psychopathy? Knowing his whole psychological profile, I think the judge was using that psychological profile to inform her decision. And most judges don't use gavels anymore, which I find to be very disappointing. No, they don't.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Where are the paw nerds now that Mr. B is in the Emily room? They are absolutely 100% with Travis. Or at least George is up on Travis's lap. Travis's game, I don't know what he's playing, but he's gaming with his friends. So George will be sitting on Travis's lap. I think that Fred is curled up in the guest room down the hall. So
I think Travis is playing chess with one of his
that's right. They
friends
were playing
from
chess.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what a normal day in our house looks like. They're, the work days are busy work days around here. Mm-hmm. So Jennifer H., did you ever do a video tasting the British candy? I feel like I missed it. No pressure. It was right before Depp versus Heard. We did some of that on Instagram. We didn't do any of that on YouTube. If Dr. B loves to teach, you'll lose your bathroom whiskey button. I know. If Dr. B leaves to teach, I'll lose the bathroom whiskey button. I know. We might have to install one. But generally, not a problem during the day. So it shouldn't be an issue because you'll be home.
Yeah.
So.
Should be.
Yep. Some of those SoCal stray dogs are terrifying, though. Molly, look, my dad was a principal in LA Unified in Southern California, and he tells a story about being at school one night, finishing up work as a janitor's locking up, and the janitor got attacked by a pack of stray dogs. It is one of the fucking scariest, most post-apocalyptic stories I have ever heard. There are packs of stray dogs, and it's wild.
Where's the area where they have the chickens that that are in the streets?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought I thought your dad told a story, or you told a story, that one of the Southern California towns has chickens that are just like roaming the streets.
There's a couple that have chickens.
All right.
Compton has chickens.
Okay.
Carson has chickens.
There we go.
I don't know if they still have chickens. Wilmington sometimes has chickens. Like escapee from the backyard chickens. Jess Matz asked, the little roaches are the big ones. The ones like they have at USC. Because you know what USC has is a roach problem. And I'm not talking about the rich kids that go there. There's actually a cockroach problem. There are places with wild turkeys too. Jer, we love a wild turkey at this house. Yeah. Wild turkeys are rad. I love wild turkeys. Love them.
The craziest thing that Griffin has named the tom turkey that's by our house, Chicken Bob.
Yeah, the turkey's named Chicken Bob. Chicken Bob's got all the we call them Chicken Bob and the ladies because it's Chicken Bob and the ladies. It's like 3 female turkeys in Chicken Bob. Last year, there was a period of time where they were traversing our yard. It had to be like 75 turkeys out there because it was like 4 or 5 adult females and all of the little juveniles. It was so many fucking turkeys. It looked like Jurassic Park because they're all like hunched over and they look like brontosauruses. They're all like, Nyeh.
And they always have that one feather that's like in the front that just kind of hangs out.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, but why? Is it like a cat's whiskers that it senses the ground or it knows what's going on? I mean, there's anybody in the chat who knows why turkeys have that one crazy feather?
I'm not intimately familiar with turkeys.
Neither am I.
How can you tell male and female turkeys apart? The feathers.
Yes.
The feathers.
Size.
And the size.
Too.
Yeah,
Usually the
it's
males are much bigger.
they are much bigger and they have the much more colorful plumage on the back.
Mhm.
So, and the peacocks in PV, the peacocks in Palos Verdes are mean
Oh,
as fuck.
They were wicked.
They're so mean. Red Sox best whiskey for Thanksgiving leftovers.
Whatever you have in your glass.
Sometimes I don't like the flavored whiskeys with food. For me, the flavored whiskeys are kind of an after dinner drink. I think might need like a peg leg porker or something, like a nice, smooth, easy, non-flavored whiskey. Tonight I drank leftover champagne, which was probably brilliant. So, probably a good plan. Probably a good plan. You guys are like, you're starting to get rosy. I'm actually hot. I am definitely
It was cold in here when we
warm.
started, but I think that may be the whiskey that's doing that.
No, I was warm when we came in because I had my heater on all day. But yeah, no, this is the whiskey. When I'm hot, it's just here. This is the whiskey. When we did 23andMe, it was like alcohol flush. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me what I already know. Question: Are you going to circle back to Brittany? Yeah, Lindsay, thank you for the super chat. Brittany needs a whole entire stream. So much has happened that the only way to do it is a whole stream, and stuff keeps happening faster in other cases.
Wait, I thought Brittany was set free. I thought she was good. Did we move on from there, or is there more?
Oh, there's so much more.
Is there? How could that be? How could I not know? How could I not know there's more going on with Brittany? Why haven't you told me? Why haven't you DTLR me?
I'll DTLR you later.
DLTR? Whatever.
TLDR.
Oh, there we go.
Don't you worry about it. So much has happened in the Brittany case. It needs an entire stream, and I just have not had the time to catch up between everything going on in the cases that were rocketing towards sentencing and the Brooks case. I just haven't had time to even pull and read all the documents. And then we've got stuff still going on in Heard. The Heard insurance case is wild. And then we've got all this stuff going on in the Girardi case. We got people being arrested, people accusing Eric of turning in the wrong earrings, which I think is a mistaken interpretation of documents, but we'll get to that next week. It's just wild. It's just wild. So yes, Brittany's going to get a whole stream as soon as possible. So it's needed. It's needed. You haven't briefed Dr. B on Brittany? No, he just doesn't listen. He just doesn't listen. But with Brittany, it's so much. But yeah, her parents are still trying to get her to pay for her lawyers. That's a fascinating response for the internet. Thanks, B.
Yep. That's all I got.
He has spoken. Yeah. Since Dr. B is here, we need to Bing. Congrats on 674. We'll see. I mean, I don't know how close we are to the next Bing, but maybe we'll play the honorary Bing. We haven't played the Bing music in a while.
I'm sure I am bringing the numbers down as we go. Probably the longer we go, the deeper the numbers are going to dive.
The long hair in the chest is called a beard. It's the beard of the turkey. It's the turkey beard.
That is awesome.
I like it.
I had no idea.
Betty M said, I visited Pigeon Forge and Chattanooga, BC, and absolutely love Tennessee. You should check out Ruby Falls. Oh, we've heard we need to check out Ruby Falls. You can't drive on the 24 without being told to visit Ruby Falls.
It's like every billboard.
Every billboard. It's like, come to Ruby Falls. Visit Ruby Falls. We will.
About a squirrel.
On a clear day, you can see 7 states. We've been told. So we absolutely will. We've got some driving coming up. Brian hasn't been to the Buc-ee's yet. So there's a Buc-ee's in Georgia that he hasn't been to. Brian stayed home with Griff because Griff was sick. Was he sick with RSV? Griff has been sick with literally everything you can be sick with this year. It's been wild. But Griffin was sick. And so I went to the band competition by myself and then was driving home from Georgia. And I stopped at the Buc-ee's and I sent like Brian a picture. And then Travis sent me a picture like 3 or 4 hours later. And he's like, we stopped at Buc-ee's. I was like, yes. He's like, this place is wild. I'm like, yep. So we will do a family stop in Buc-ee's when we drive through Georgia next time. So Buc-ee's is a must. Buc-ee's is a must. Have we discussed how Dr. B swept you off your feet? Not yet. I mean, we've talked a little bit about how we met.
It was nothing but charm.
Oh, no. No, it was not charm.
Yeah,
it was quintessential.
It was cheese-tastic.
It was quintessential Brian trying to be smooth, but not being smooth, which is
miserably.
so fucking endearing. The turkey beards also denote age.
Oh, Really?
I love it. I love that. I love that. Bucky's is insane. Bucky's, he just hasn't been to Bucky's.
Yeah.
We've been to a Texas Bucky's when we drove cross country.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And
Wait, is that the place you walked out on? Were we getting food there and you're like, oh no, I can't eat here? Was that a Bucky's?
Okay, no. And that's not the whole story. That was very early days, COVID during the move, and no one had on gloves or masks. And it was people were sniffling. I couldn't. It was just too much.
We stopped to get.
That was very, very, very early days, and people were like, and like no glove. It was
like we were standing in line, and I could tell that Emily was just getting agitated and nervous and more. And I look over and she's like, I can't do this.
I just couldn't. I couldn't. I was too stressed about it.
like,
We were moving
why?
cross country. It was the no gloves in food service was the first thing. And then
was
all
like
the
no gloves and mask.
snarfling. I couldn't. And I was already pissed off because some jackass with a boat parked his fucking truck and his boat in front of all of the Tesla charging stations. So I was already annoyed. I couldn't hang. And that was June. Like, no, July. That was early July 2020. I just couldn't. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, not today. Not today. Look, no gloves in food service is a hard stop for me. It's just a hard
was
stop
the
for me.
masks too? Because again, it was really early in COVID. We had no idea, and you're just like, I can't do this.
I just couldn't. I was so done.
You're like, I want a bag of Funyuns and a Coke. Let's go.
Yep, basically. Nice to finally meet you, Dr. B. My favorite is sweet potato pie. Thank you, Allie. Thanks for sharing Emily with us, Dr. B. We love her and your family. We are all Team Baker and love attending the EDB School of Law. I mean, it's the EDB School of Cursey Words, Sass, and sometimes Law.
Yeah.
Black Dynamite asks question, how do you throw away a garbage can? In the garbage?
You put it in a bigger garbage can.
It's kind of like fish. The bigger fish just eats the smaller fish. The bigger garbage can just eats it. We will see about a Bing. It was amazing. Dispirited. Is that, do we mean disenchanted? I don't know. Rebecca, good. Yes. Yes. I'm going to guess Tennesseans don't say the 24. Oh, Cat in Virginia. No, that's absolutely accurate. That's absolutely accurate. It is a California thing that I don't know if I will ever get rid of. Tennesseans say I-24. My friend, my dear friend Abby, who won her judicial race in Los Angeles, is natively from Tennessee. She is now living where I grew up. I am now living where she grew up. It's perfect. But she would just be like, we would be chatting. I'm like, where are you? She's like, ugh, I-405. I'm like, girl.
What's that?
What?
Where is that?
It's an interstate. Yeah. I don't know if it's an interstate. It's the 405. They are the 405, the 10, the 710, the 605. And there's so many. And
most of the time they were just a parking lot because traffic never moved, but it was always the 405.
And when you drive in Southern California, you will be like, where are you going? It's like, well, I need to take the 105 to the 405 to the 110.
Yeah.
Or I need to take to the 91 to the what was the one to Disney?
605.
To the 605.
No, it's the 605 to the 91.
No, it was the 91 to the 605. Yeah. Anyway, so you would regularly have to take 4 or 5 highways or interstates to get anywhere. And it was always even when we lived in Washington, it was and now it's just all the place. Liz said, all my freeways are I thought that was normal. I think we're the minority in California where we say the. Southern California says the, Northern California doesn't. In New Jersey, we just say the highway number or the exit number. Yes, and then you charge people a toll for thinking about being on it. Do you remember the time we were in New Jersey to visit my family? And I had to go get Starbucks, and I ended up accidentally paying like 2 tolls to get to Starbucks because I didn't realize the Starbucks was also off of the highway.
Yeah, I do. You're like the most expensive.
It was like a $30 Starbucks. It was ridiculous. So yes. So here I also say the 65, the 24, but I can't. There are some parts of my vernacular I cannot shift in my brain, and it will always be a giveaway that I'm from California. But we're not trying to like tear down landmarks here in Tennessee. So I feel like we're the nice California.
I assumed everybody said that for the freeways, that it was
because we both grew up in Southern California.
The 804. I had no idea.
What's the 804?
Oh, the 840. I'm sorry. It was a dyslexic moment there for a second.
As we
The
do in this
whiskey was
household.
talking.
As we do in this household. There is a hair on my microphone. Yeah, I say the. Most people don't say the. Someone just said nothing says love in California like I would take the I would take the 5 for you.
Yeah.
Nothing says love in Southern California like I'd take the 5 to the 405 for you. Anna Compton, there are a few people in my life that I would take the 405 for. There was
It's amazing that in Southern California, you could have a long distance relationship with someone
within
who
Los
only lives
Angeles.
like 20 miles away or maybe 19 miles away because it would take you 2 to 3 hours to get there.
Yes. Rianne asked, question from my child. Hello, Rianne's child. If you drop a bar of soap on the floor, is the floor clean or is the soap dirty? Both. Brian? All right, you took too long to answer.
No,
I'm no longer amused.
Yeah, I like the idea of dirty soap. So I was like trying to figure out how could I answer that.
He's like,
it just sounds stupid.
He's like, we use body wash. Yeah. I don't know. Kathy O'Toole said reported Chipotle twice for masks under nose. I just walked out was my choice. Do a meet and greet in chat. We will bring your PR food. Oh, okay.
I don't remember. I don't think you walked out quietly either when we left.
I was frazzled.
Yeah, you
If
were.
I wasn't quiet, I was frazzled.
There was.
But I didn't. No, I didn't full Karen it. I didn't.
No.
I was telling you guys like because you look.
I didn't understand. I was like, I'm hungry. I want to eat. What's going on?
So it's not me being loud. It's Brian being like, but why? Why do we have to go? But what's the problem?
The kids are hungry.
But what's going on? I'm like, I can't. And he's like, but why? What's the problem? I'm like, I can't. So I don't want to explain, but then it's like, but why? But why? But why? But why? Yeah. But why? But why? And then I was like, damn it. But damn it. Color and chat with Joanna said would rather have my face scraped than enter a Buc-ee's. It's a very descriptive way to put that. Tori said I found an American flying cockroach in my hotel room and I named him Carl. It was my 40th birthday. Had to stay there. My 40th birthday present had to stay there. I mean, that would have stressed me out. Southern Hot Mess said, daughter's dog broke my leg in 3 spots this summer. Holy shit. One break being a compound fracture, also holy shit. Thigh bone pushed calf bone down 4 millimeters, dislocated kneecap plate and 7 screws later. It's been a great summer. Southern Hot Mess. Your orthopedic surgeon must have been thrilled. He would have been like, ooh, that's entertaining. For you, that must have sucked.
Especially during the summer.
Look, man, I've almost tripped over my cats. It's not good. It's not good. Kurt Smith said, loving this banter. Thank you. Question, why is the Danny
But the funny thing is, sorry to go back to that.
You've got to jump in faster, my guy.
Way too quick. I mean, my whiskey brain cannot keep up with this.
Your non-ADHD brain cannot keep up with it.
This is how our house is all the time. Like Travis had a friend over for dinner. I don't even think you were working.
I was out of town.
Yeah, you were out of town, but we were still just bantering back and forth, and I can't even remember what we were bantering about. And at one point, they looked at us and they're like, "Is your dinner? Is it always like this?" And we're like,
yep.
"Well," like all 3 of us looked at each other. We're like, "Yep, it sure is."
We're a chatty family.
Yeah,
but I think that not all teens are used to being chatty at home.
That could be.
Yeah, we're chatty. Why is the Danny Masterson case not getting any press? Is Scientology at work still? Thanks. Much love. I think the public interest is low, and if people don't get the clicks, they're going to stop covering it. It's also on break this week. So the jury looks like they want to hang, and they're not going to come to a decision, and the judge sent them all home for Thanksgiving week. So there's nothing going on this week. But no, it hasn't been covered as much as Weinstein has.
Mike Rowe just interviewed someone on his show, his podcast. I mean, I heard this. I didn't listen to it. I only heard. No,
Dr. B listens to the Micro podcast, not mine.
He interviewed someone from Scientology. It was really fascinating.
That's so fascinating.
So I've heard. Yeah.
It's okay that you don't listen to my podcast.
No, I live with it.
Yeah, you still don't know what's going on. Because we really do talk about other stuff most of the time.
Yes.
There's times I come out and I'm like, you'll never believe what happened. And he's like, I don't care. He doesn't know Brian doesn't know who 90% of the people are. Have you watched any Housewives of any episodes of Real Housewives with me?
Yeah, we just watched one the other night. Some Salt Lake.
Oh, we were watching Salt
Yeah.
Lake the other night.
Yeah, someone was trying out for American Idol or something, or the
N-
choir, or
No, they were auditioning a
Yeah.
choir. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
that's all I remember.
Yeah, that's fair. You still have a favorite housewife, though. Is your favorite housewife still your favorite housewife? He doesn't remember. Fantastic. Question from Redbag Read Books. Actual comment. Husband and I bought a building. It came with a cat. Long story. We call him Danger Floof. He sachets down the steps when we come in. He weighs about 30 pounds. That's
Holy
fantastic.
smokes.
You keep Danger Floof happy and fed, and Danger Floof will keep your place safe. Question, is Dr. B
So-
wearing Erlen lenses too?
Yes. Yeah, these are mine.
Obviously.
Yeah. This is my color. So yeah, and these are also
Obviously.
my vision correction glasses, so I can't see without them.
You sometimes can't see with them.
That's true. It's my excuse.
Does Dr. B know about Jen Shaw? What do you know about Jen Shaw?
She had that crazy outfit on trying out for the choir. I think it was pink. That's all I remember. But yeah, I know Jen Shaw's been arrested or is convicted or gone to trial or pled guilty or did something. I'm trying to like say things as quick as I can to make up for the fact that I really don't know what's going on.
Jen Shaw has done something.
Weren't you supposed to go to New York for her sentencing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all I know.
I was supposed to go to New York for her sentencing in just a handful of weeks, and now it's been pushed, I think, to January.
Here, I'm going to go big.
6th.
Was it money laundering? Fraud, scam.
Keep saying words. Keep saying words. It was not. It was wire fraud.
There we go.
So, does Dr. B know about Daryl Brooks? We talked about it a bit. We talked more about the impact of the victim impact statements because we talked just about how reminiscent that was of being a DA and about how many victim impact statements we did. My 14-year-old came in during part of the victim impact statements and was like, "Oh, mom," and gave me a hug and was like, "Are you okay?" And so we talked about those after the end of the day. We didn't talk about his shenanigans a ton.
No, I
We
just
talked
remember
more about
you,
the impact statements.
you came out crying
Yep.
multiple times during that day,
Yep.
which was reminiscent of what it was like when you were DA too.
Yep. Brian got to see all of the me crying at home part of me being a DA. He didn't get to really see the fun me being a badass in court winning things. He got to see the like emotional breakdown of it all. But that was true touring law school too. You would come in and be like, what is happening in here? I'm like, studying for the bar. And he's like, I'm out. Bye. I'll see you later.
but I mean, it was definitely true when you have to bring work home. I would have to bring charts, paperwork, stuff that I would need to do. So we would pre-kids would be on the couch doing stuff and I'd be doing my thing, and
He's
Emily
like, I
would
have
be
this
doing hers,
super complex.
and I would look over and you'd just be crying, looking at crime scene reports, photos, something. And it was just every night.
I mean,
was
not
awful.
every night, but yeah,
It was
a lot of nights. Mm-hmm. It was hard. It was just, it takes a toll. I mean, and after a while, it took a toll on Dr. B as well. So, Rebecca, did you ever get the whiskey freezer bullets? They're in our freezer now, and our teen loves to put them in his
Yes.
drinks as well. So normally they're not cold when we go to put them in our drinks. But yes, we got them. I think they're amazing and hilarious. So, Kat in Virginia said, we definitely can hear you're from California when you say the. Look, I've been saying the forever. I won't be able to get rid of it. I also will say y'all, and I've been saying y'all since high school as well. Nancy
Yeah.
P said, what kind of doctor is Dr. B? Dr. B is a...
God, I really wish I was like Dr. Buss from the Lakers and could say that, but no, I'm actually a maxillofacial prosthodontist, so I'm just a dentist.
Do you want to give all the letters that go after your name or no? No?
It's like an alphabet soup.
It is a fucking alphabet soup. The man has so many degrees. It's a lot of degrees. But the best thing he ever got was me. Maybe a little more expensive than some of the degrees. Less expensive than other ones. There's nothing. Okay,
Yeah, I
fantastic.
got nothing on that.
Nope, often. Thank you, Joanna, for the super chat. Jen, thank you so much for the super chat. Love your zip top with finger holes. What brand is it? Probably Target. This is Target. Also, I'm an ICU nurse, ICU RN, and retired police officer. Thanks so much for all you do. Really appreciate your input on the legal issues of the day. Thank you, Jen. I know, I think there's probably days that being in an ICU feels better than being out on patrol, and probably some days where it's a lot
Probably
different.
feels the same. Good on you.
Probably. So thank you for what you do. We definitely need a meet and greet with EDB and the Law Nerds. I know we do. I know we do. Do a meet and greet in Chattanooga. I'll bring you Puerto Rican food. Love Puerto Rico. Mom, and I love you. And thank you, Mirtha. I appreciate that. We're going to get to a few more questions. How did you treat TMJ other than Botox? Save us, Dr. B. All right, chat. If anyone doesn't want to hear, go get a snack.
Yeah, good time to get a snack. The person who I have been trained under originally for TMJ or TMD, however you want to call it, his phrase was, doctors who do Botox for TMJ do that because they don't know what's going on and they don't know how to treat it.
Dentists are shady with
Yeah,
each other,
so
by the
that
way.
was-
It's a whole big like dick measuring competition
Yeah,
with
there's
education.
a lot of arrogance that what I do is better than what you do. You really got to look at the etiology of why you would use Botox. You got to treat the underlying disease first, and whether that's you're not breathing properly, you're snoring, is your jaw joint bothering you more at the night? Sorry, am I talking?
No, just look at the camera when you talk. That's all.
You really got to look at the etiology of what is causing the disease first. Then, if Botox is something that you need to do afterwards, because you need to like just fine tune it a little bit, that's how I would look at it. But it's not a first line of treatment.
It's like you're saying you have to find the cause for the problem and treat the cause, and that doesn't always get done in modern medicine.
Yeah, because it's easy. You just go in and start just doing some Botox, and that's quick and easy.
Wait, behind my head? I want the Botox in the face.
Yeah, no,
Botox my face.
for
not the
jaw
back.
joint. I think there's actually some injections in the back of the head, which has to do with your occipital.
He's all up in my hair right now, and it just gave me the chills. You can't do that on stream. You can keep talking.
Oh,
you just can't tickle the back of my head on stream. I'll lose focus.
So you just got to treat the primary spot first. Find out the primary reason why you have jaw issues.
He's looking for the spot.
Yeah.
He's looking for the spot, y'all.
Yeah. Always looking for the spot.
Oh, darling. All right. We are going to also look at a few other questions. I just saw something that I wanted to answer, and then you distracted me, is what happened, and then it disappeared. Sorry, y'all. I saw one that I wanted to answer. It disappeared. Keep talking about jaw joints, darling. He's like, I have nothing else to say. I mean, this was the question. Kelly asked, whose school cost more, EDB or Dr. B? So law school cost more, but it's because Dr. B went to dental school
at a state school.
A substantial, well, that's true too. You went to a state school versus me going to a private school, but you also went
many years before you went to law school. Yeah.
I think if we had gone to school at the same time, dental school would have cost more than law school.
No, I don't think so. At
UCLA?
At UCLA, it would have been the same.
The price didn't change in the 10 years.
No, I thought you said if we went to school at the same time.
Yes. You think law school still would have cost more?
I think was the same cost.
Oh, yeah, it would have been much closer.
It's at the graduate level.
No, not at the same school. Even if I had gone to my school and you had gone to your school wouldn't have me. They were like, who the fuck do you think you are? But even if we had gone to school in the same year, I think dental school would have cost more.
No, not at all. When I started UCLA, this is how great UCLA was in being able to go to a state school. It was $850 a quarter when I started. I highly doubt law school would have been that cheap.
It might be at UCLA, but it definitely wasn't for my school. How much does USC dental school cost now? Because I think that it's getting past like $300,000 to get your degree.
If you're full loans, and you're taking out money, you're in the threes.
So yes, for us,
I think I told you. Sorry, I'm going to digress here, but I think I told you that story. I had my USC interview before I had UCLA, and I remember being at the interview at USC and the interview office was right next door to the financial aid office.
They're like, go there.
And I remember sitting there, and while I was waiting for my interview, at least three students went into the financial aid office screaming at the top of their lungs that they needed more money and they didn't have enough money. And then they needed more money available. And I'm like, oh my God, please.
Don't let me go.
Yeah.
Don't make me go here.
Yeah. So when I got my acceptance letter to UCLA, I was doing backflips. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Donna D said UConn Dental, $580,000.
Wow.
And this is the thing that we are. Look, I'm just going to sidebar for a moment on the cost of education because I think we are excluding very qualified individuals from higher education with the cost of higher education. Because why in the world would you want to spend that kind of money to go into a field where it's going to take you a decade plus to pay it off, if not more? You aren't going to have control of your world. You are going to be working so much. I just, why would people take that on? It's just crazy.
And my feeling is that I was so glad where I was with minimal debt because I never wanted my debt to dictate my treatment.
And you say that a lot.
And I if I had a 500, was it 580?
It was 580.
Yeah, 580. If I had that kind of debt and how much I know you'd be paying monthly, everyone would be like, crown, rehab, crown. I mean, it would definitely affect your judgment.
It would definitely affect your judgment because how can it not? I mean, we didn't want to be controlled by our debt. I definitely had a bit more of that and a bit of a panic attack about that when I went to leave the DA's office, but we made sure our loans were paid off and definitely had some help from family to be able to do that and make sure our loans were paid off before I switched careers because that's part of it. Is making sure that your debt's taken care of. But I didn't think about it at the time because when you're taking out those loans, you're like, it'll be fine. And then it's not.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, now I'm here. And if you're in a career you don't love, you're stuck with a lifestyle and student loan debts. I mean, I was paying $2,000 a month in student loan payments. So, to be able to pay to live, I was doing the budget at our house as well. But to be able to pay student loans, pay to live, how do you ever break even on that kind of education? And, we're going to lose kind and compassionate and skilled professionals because of money. And that is bullshit. So that's it. It's not normal to take that kind of loans and it shouldn't be. And schools are so top heavy. I have the friends I have that work or have worked in higher education. It's not the teachers who are getting that money. It's the bureaucracies that are, and it's just awful.
The other best advice that came from, could hear the kids laughing upstairs. The other best advice that came from one of the professors in dental school, he says, when you get out, the first thing you think you're going to want to do is to buy a new car and drive something super fancy because you think every dentist does that.
I'm that
he's
person
like, don't
who
do that.
graduates and wants to buy a new car.
Because once you get a new car in that job that you really didn't like in that office you don't want to be at, you're now stuck.
Yep. It's the same with buying any big purchase.
So
the same applies for influencers though, because influencers do that shit all the time. They're like, I had a video that hit big. It's like, you're just at the tip of the roller coaster. Don't go spending that money, boo boo.
Do you remember what I was driving when we first met?
Oh, yes, I do.
I was driving the Dental Dorkmobile.
Yes, it was.
Little 4-door Mitsubishi, I think. Had no air conditioning.
The radio was stuck on K-Earth.
Radio was stuck on K-Earth. The tape deck didn't work either.
No.
Windows you had to roll down. They weren't even power windows.
Though someone I dated in high school, their radio was stuck on Radio Disney. K-Earth was a bit of
oh no, K-Earth was terrible.
It was a bit of a step up from Radio Disney.
No, I would have taken Radio Disney.
I still know every single lyric to the Weird Al Anakin Skywalker song because of that period of time of driving to water polo practice in the morning. That song was on every single day. My, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later. Now he's just a small fry. Anyway, because Radio Disney, this started me driving everywhere in our relationship.
No, not because of the car.
Yeah,
it was not. It was not. How dare you? Well, you're saying you didn't want to be seen in the car? I mean,
I mean,
come on.
maybe.
I mean,
It's an embarrassing car.
wait, we made out in that car.
We did. To Nine Inch Nails.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, which song? Oh, got it. Yeah. At least it wasn't a Volkswagen.
That was actually my
Yeah.
car that we made out into Nine Inch Nails because Nine Inch Nails was not playing on
On
K-Earth.
K-Earth.
But I
Yeah.
appreciate that you remember it that way. We did not make out in your car much. And no, Dr. B and I met at a friend's party. So a friend had a housewarming party. It was a friend Dr. B had worked with during college, somebody who I knew that lived up the street from me. And yeah, that's how we met. We hung out. We went out that night, and I didn't believe, when you told me how old you were, I didn't believe you. And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like,
I think we were looking
"No."
at IDs at Denny's.
No, that's how we ended up
Yeah.
pulling out our IDs because I didn't
were-
believe you. I carded him.
Yeah, we were at Denny's at like 2 a.m.
Because where else
Yeah,
would you be?
yeah.
It was like the Denny's down the street from my high school, though. So we were at Denny's.
Hippolito
Hippolito was
Hippolito
there.
was the-
Hippolito was there
the
for
guy who
most of the
always-
beginning of our
yes,
relationship.
Always served us late at night.
Hippolito was great.
Yeah.
So everybody was asking, Dr. B was the bartender? EDB was the bartender.
Exactly.
EDB was the bartender.
And
EDB
I
had
didn't
on.
know, and I didn't know anybody else at the party except for the guy who was having the party. So where do you think I hung out? At the bar.
I might have had somewhat of a crop top and low-rise pants that showed my tramp stamp perfectly.
Oh yeah.
That may have been intentional.
And you had that like that perfect 90s crest where your underwear just came out over your pants.
The whale tail.
Yeah.
Yep. You've told the
Yeah.
stories of the whale tail. Oh, the whale tail days. They're coming back in style though.
Are
It's
they?
so fucking weird.
Nice. I like the 90s.
I like the 90s too, but now we're getting into the early 2000s.
Hmm.
No. Anyway, so we
Oh, no. I was going to say it's interesting because since I am older and when this just story came into my mind.
if it's about my thong anymore, we need to
I
just
should
stop
probably
now.
filter. But it's funny when talking to other parents and they're like, oh yeah, when I grew up in the 80s, we used to do this. And I'm like, when I grew up in the 70s, we had none of that. Like there were no seat belts, there were no helmets, there was nothing.
Your parents brought you home from the hospital just holding you.
Oh yeah, like stuffed under your arm and a
We're
12
old.
pack on the other.
What kind of a tramp stamp? I had crooked waves on my back. Yeah. Crooked waves on my back that have since been worked into a much larger back piece.
But crooked waves in that very 90s tribal
They were crooked. Yep.
fashion.
But they're crooked. Yeah, I got it in the 90s. We went away for Easter with some of the guys on the gymnastics team in college, and we drove to Vermont because we could not get tattoos in Massachusetts. So I got a crooked tramp stamp in Vermont over Easter weekend. I have very, very fond memories. I don't even remember whose house we stayed at. Somebody showed up at their parents' house with like 5 people and was like, hey, we're here for Easter. We were all just like, hi, we're the friends from college. And now I hope my kids will do that. Just
And
like
that's where
roll
you-
in with
and
a
that's
car
where you
full of
got-
kids. And I'm
did
like, the
you-
laundry's
Were you
that
the
way.
only one who got a tattoo, or did everybody get a tattoo?
A bunch of us got tattoos. I was the only girl in that group, but a bunch of us got
Okay.
tattoos. Yep.
Hmm.
Dude, partying with the gymnastics team was fucking wild because in high school, I didn't party. So in college, I spent a lot of time with the water polo players and swimmers, and then had friends on my floor because most of the floors were in the area of the dorm that I was in were athletes for like our grouping of floors. So I got to know a bunch of the kids on the gymnastics team and traveled with them a few times to like people's families' homes or whatever. I don't know what that's like. My family, it was never like, oh, come to my family's home in the Cape. So I was thrilled whenever somebody's like, oh, my family has a beach house. Fuck yeah, let's go. They would like get drunk and walk up and down the stairs on their hands and shit. I was like, what is happening? Wild. Partying with the gymnastics team was wild. I didn't grow up with gymnastics
I've got to
friends.
ask you this. Ow! How do you?
Are your glasses hurting your?
Yeah, how do you wear glasses underneath your headphones?
Well, today I
Oh
wore
my
the hat
God,
because
that
the
hurt.
hat buffers the headphones on the glasses. But I picked these glasses with this really thin arm, particularly for this. So, what is the age gap? 11 years.
Mhm.
Yep, my mom was thrilled when we met. We won't.
So talking about the 11 years.
I was going to
best-
say we
no,
won't tell that story, and Dr. B's like, "Oh,
no,
the
no,
fuck,
no,
we
no,
won't."
no, that one. That one. When we went to my 20-year high school reunion, one of my old classmates at the barbecue or the river party we had the next day came up to Emily and she's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. I can't believe the two of you are still together. And Emily's looking at me like, what is this girl talking about? She's like, oh, Brian, isn't this so-and-so that you dated in high school? She's like, I am so much younger than that fucking old bitch.
I did
You're
not
like,
say that out loud. I was so deeply offended.
oh yeah,
I was
you
so
were.
deeply offended. I was like, I am younger than all you fuckers.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, your high school reunion was the day after the bar exam.
Yeah, you did.
And someone was packing the car.
You did
him.
look pretty tired.
I was fucking exhausted. I had taken the bar exam for 3 days, driven back home because I stayed out where the bar exam was in fucking Ontario, driven back home, gotten in the car with you, and driven up to where you went to high school.
Which was about 3 hours from where we lived.
3 hours away. He packed the car.
Yeah. And we took your car, which was perfect.
Did we take my car?
Yep.
I thought we took the rodeo.
No, we took your car.
We did? Anyway, packed the car, drove up to your reunion.
Mm-hmm.
He packed the car. We unpacked the car and I'm like, hey, where's my dress for the reunion? That was the next day. It was probably 9 o'clock at night at this point. And he's like, hanging on the back of the door at home.
Yeah. With my suit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was 9 o'clock at night because then we
drove back.
Because we went down and saw my dad for a little bit. And then we got on the road and we got home probably at about midnight. So it would have been about 9, 10 o'clock when we got on the road. Okay, maybe we got home much later than that.
So then we drove back home.
Yeah.
Picked up our clothes and drove back. So we didn't get back until 2 or 3 in the morning to like the bed and breakfast where we were staying. So by the day of the reunion, I'm fucking haggard. And then he's super cranky because the local newspaper.
No, that was short. But it was funny.
We're telling that story.
No, the table that we sat at, we told that story about how I left things at home and we had to drive back and get it because half the people at our table were staying at the same bed and breakfast we were. So the question came up is like, who drove the farthest or who came the farthest to the reunion? And everybody at our tables like,
we were like, we did because we drove it 4
like,
fucking times.
Like these dumb fuckers, they're the ones who drove the farthest because they did it twice.
We did it like 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like, we put in the most miles to fucking get here. But so I'm already tired. He's already cranky because the hometown newspaper did a like reunion edition and highlighted the most successful person from their class who was an international male dancer. And Dr. B's like, I have like 12 fucking degrees.
It's not just about me. I mean, there were people,
architects.
Yeah,
doctors.
There were architects, there's
lots of first generation from their family to go to college. Lots of that.
Lots of people who escaped that area and had been really successful. And then now it's just about this one individual. And we're like, really? Is that how we're going to inspire the future generation?
The future generation is highly inspired by exotic dancing.
Yeah.
And then he tried to sell me weed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm just coming off the bar exam. I have no idea what you have in your pocket. And I am good. But then everybody thought that I was your age and I was deeply offended.
You're so offended.
I was so mad. I was so tired. But what was really fun was to watch all of the popular girls that you kind of grew up with realize that moisturizer and sunscreen were probably needed 20 years prior to this reunion. And then the girls who you said were kind of nerdy, there was a girl that Brian said was kind of nerdy in high school. She walked into the reunion like a fucking goddess.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is that? He's like, this is so-and-so. She sat next to me in science. They bullied her. I'm like, she is a full ass snack. She looked incredible. And he was like, no, she was not one of the most popular kids. I'm like, the popular kids look like leather. This woman is fucking stunning. And I want to be friends with her.
Yeah. So definitely a note that your older self would send to your younger self: wear a hat and sunscreen.
Always wear the sunscreen. Always wear the sunscreen. Always wear the sunscreen. Our chat has stopped coming in, but that's okay. She was a total full snack. I was like, look at her. Get it. Reunions are weird. Is this just a US thing? Do y'all do this elsewhere? Reunions are weird. Just let me know. Let me know if y'all do reunions. They're weird. You do like a 10, maybe a 15, a 20, a 25, and then at some point you start combining them because the classes get smaller. My mom's going back to like a 60th or something.
So is a full snack a compliment? Or is like half a snack a compliment? Because I know half salad's not a compliment.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's a
Full
it's a
snack. Okay.
It's a compliment.
All right.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Oh.
Meg in the Moon said, just had my 20. It was amazing. 20 was more fun than 10. My 10-year high school reunion was kind of a mess.
You were a mess. It wasn't a mess. You were a mess.
It was a mess, though. It was
You
a
were.
little bit of a mess because people were still jockeying for
Yeah.
position and popularity. The 20-year reunion was kind of more fun.
I don't think I went to that. No, was I sick?
You were sick.
Yeah.
A number of people asked for you because
Yeah.
you are their dentist and they were
Could
hoping to
not
see
go.
you. No, you were sick.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I was way more sober at my 20-year reunion.
You sound angry about that now.
There was drama. There was like high school level drama. I don't like high school drama. I don't like any drama, but there was like full high school drama at my 20-year reunion. And I saw somebody just drunk being held back by their friends, yelling at like their high school ex-boyfriend. I was like, oh shit, this is for therapy.
Still haven't gotten over it.
Yeah, this is for
Still holding
therapy.
on to
This is not for right now. But by the 20-year reunion, you're actually able to have like people have had kids, people have lived life, people have had things happen. We had people in our class whose spouses had passed. It was like we had like there's life's bigger than just what the fuck happened in high school. And it was really nice to be able to have those conversations. I thought that was great. And then people from other schools crashed, and I thought that was weird and great. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you crashing our high school
You mean
reunion?
someone from Redondo?
No, from Gundo.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. And we had kids from the class above us that were there too.
Huh.
I was like, what's up, y'all? And at this point, it's like, oh, who cares? Just
Yeah.
the more the merrier. The more the merrier. So Peg said went to the 10 and never went back.
I'm putting it out right here. We're going to my 40-year reunion because it's in 2 years.
How do you mean we?
We are all going.
What do you mean by we?
We are going to my 40-year reunion.
Who's we? We you? You.
You and I. You and I.
Uh-huh.
And the kids.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we'll get your folks to come up and
Your optimism warms my heart. Dr. B, any advice for Tennessee? Look for snakes.
any advice for
You're overthinking it.
no.
You're already overthinking it.
Are they trying to move to Tennessee? Because then I would go.
Hey,
then
Brian?
I'm gonna go like,
Hey,
oh
Brian?
no, the state's already full. It's awful. The mosquitoes are terrible. There's snakes everywhere. It's so hot in the summer. Your hair will curl up on you. And then
Enjoy
it's
it.
so cold in winter. Come, Tennessee's great. I have enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, we get to do things here and have space and meet great people and do great things.
Less people is a key. It's a key component. People look, here's the thing that I noticed about people in Tennessee when we first moved, that we were looking at each other going, oh, Tennessee. No, she doesn't mean Tennessee. Trigeminal neuro. I'm sorry. I read that in the most Emily centric way.
You have to have a good neurologist.
Trigeminal neuralgia.
Yeah, you have to have a good neurologist. You have to really find out what
Wait. You got to back up and explain what TN is for the chat.
So trigeminal neuralgia, for people who have it, it is excruciating. It's like an electrical stabbing pain that could be offset by just wind blowing across your face, or just you lightly touch yourself, or something happens.
I touch myself.
Yeah. It can be really bad. There's a number of things that can be done. There's some definitely medications. We had a good friend who actually had TN and actually had the vascular decompression surgery that was done on the back of her head.
And went well.
And she's like, oh my God, that went great for me. But she had a great neurosurgeon. Again, you got to really find out what is the cause of it. Is it really TN? Is it not a cluster headache? Is it something else that could be manifesting? Good, accurate diagnosis is key. And then just a good team, good support.
Oh, Christian, you're not going to like the answer to this. Dr. B, best remedy for bleeding gums. Go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Can I be frank?
Be frank.
So usually your gums are bleeding because they have a bacterial overgrowth.
This is just Christian. We're not judging Christian.
Yeah.
This is just a question because Christian wants to give this advice to others. We don't judge here.
Yeah. So the thought is, don't just brush your teeth. You got to brush your gums. You got to clean your gums. only floss the teeth you want to keep. And
Tell me how you feel about a water pick, Dr. B.
that's where I'm going next. For me, one of the best things that can be used, especially for bleeding gums, is a water pick or water flosser, depending on how you want to call it. But you fill the reservoir up with about 2/3 warm water, a splash of hydrogen peroxide,
Look,
and a drop of liquid soap.
it works.
It works great because the bacterial reasons, the bacteria that cause your gums to bleed don't like oxygen, and hydrogen peroxide releases a whole bunch of oxygen. Don't gargle with pure hydrogen peroxide. Don't go overboard on it. It's just a little bit. But for me,
More's not better in this context.
I love a water flosser. I use mine twice a day.
Dr. B, do you prefer and or recommend water flossing or string flossing? Dr. B loves a water flosser. Look, you guys know I've got a discount at Quip, and they've got a new handheld water flosser. So you guys know you can go try it out. Look, here's the key to water flossing. That water's got to be warm.
Yeah, it does. Otherwise,
It's got to be
hurt your
warm or it
teeth.
hurts like fuck.
The easiest question, or the easiest
Yes,
way to
soap.
answer that question, is whichever one you like to use.
Whichever one you're
So,
going to use.
Whichever one you're going to use, then do that. I mean, there are studies that show which one is more effective, which one's going to give a better results. It really doesn't matter if you don't use it. So if you prefer using a water flosser, go for it twice a day.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
People are like, soap. Wait, soap. You need to give your special thing again.
So I'll drop it. I'll go back in. So the container for the water flosser, fill up with about 2/3 warm water, a drop of liquid soap, whatever liquid soap you have in the bathroom, whether it's Dial, Dove, whatever it is.
Just hand soap.
Hand soap does not have to be antibacterial or anything like that. Something that you can just squeeze a tiny drop out of. And then
Hydrogen peroxide.
hydrogen peroxide. The reason you use the soap, if you want to know, it acts as a surfactant. So the water and hydrogen peroxide actually flow better.
Is it okay to water floss with warm salt water?
Absolutely. So the question would be is why would you want to use salt?
Because it's yummy and it doesn't taste as disgusting as soap. Soap actually is not too bad.
Well, it's the same reason why all early meat was cured with soap. Because salt.
Early meat was cured with salt.
Yes, because
whiskey
salt,
brain.
Because salt kills bacteria.
Yep. Water pick is so messy. Counterpoint.
If you try and do this with your water pick and look in the mirror while you're doing it, it's going to be all over the mirror. You've got to do it and then just lean into the sink and just hang out at the sink. And
you can't demonstrate. You need to still talk. You got to shove that thing in your mouth and do it over the sink so the water runs back down into the sink. It doesn't have to be messy. I mean, it can be messy if that's fun for you, but it doesn't have to be.
Did you really have to say shove? You just take the water pick and just gently
insert it into your mouth.
Move it around.
Move it around. What?
Nothing.
How much hydrogen peroxide, Dr. B?
I just take 2 capfuls. So the hydrogen peroxide, unscrew the cap, fill the cap, put it in.
Little bit.
Just a little bit.
Little bit.
Yeah, just the tip.
You're feeling yourself.
No, you were the one like.
What's my code for the? I'm sure the mods will put it in. Miguelina, can you let me know in the private chat what it is? I think it's Lawnerd. I think it's quip.com/Lawnerd, but I could be wrong. It could be Emily B. So let me figure it out. Dr. B, any suggestions for reoccurring tonsil stones?
Oh, those actually, when people come in, they're like, I think I have something like stuck in the back of my throat. I can feel it. And we just take these long Q-tips, sterile Q-tips. You can get back there and just tease them out.
You like to tease it at the back of the throat? I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to be like. I know you are.
You're gonna have to see an
sorry,
ear, nose, and throat surgeon. Talk to him about it. I
ENT.
believe sometimes they can resurface them. The reason you get these stones is your tonsils are basically giant sponges that absorb everything that go by when you swallow. And in the process,
is there anything you could swallow that could?
That's just waiting.
Look, Kourtney Kardashian went on TV and said that her doctor told her that she needed to start drinking Travis Barker's sperm. Like, this is not just me being weird. It was on TV. You didn't know that. We didn't talk about
How
that.
the fuck would I know that? I don't watch that show.
You don't watch.
How did I miss that episode?
I don't know, but she did, and I was like, "Who is convincing Kourtney Kardashian that what she needs to do is drink more sperm? Like, what is happening?"
Moving on from that. Go.
Y'all,
Go.
he doesn't know I don't think he knows
Go see
the
an
Wood Daddy Stack
ENT.
story either. Go see an ENT.
Yeah.
We've lost the ability to be serious. The quip code is at the start of the Jay Edelson video. That's true too, and we put it in the chat. Thank you, Miguelina, for doing that. So it was Kourtney oversharing. Why was she told to drink sperm? I don't know.
And
Somebody convinced her it was a good idea.
Do you make a cocktail out of it? Does it go straight? Do you? I mean,
I think you get it the traditional way.
okay.
I don't imagine she's putting it in a shot glass. It wasn't just Travis Barker. It was their whoever fertility doc, that not doc, but their fertility person that they were talking to. Dr. B, this is important. This went from after hours for a moment. It did. It did. He was tickling my neck earlier. We're done. Change the toothbrush how often?
I always said when it looks like it has a bad hair day. So when it gets all like
He
just
does say that.
out and sticking out when it looks like it has a bad hair day,
Everyone in the
change it.
chat knows exactly what it means.
Change it.
Dr. B, do you remember the stack of vaginas story? Did we talk about the stack of vaginas? No, that's a no.
Is that a sandwich?
I mean, kinda. It wasn't intended to be eaten first, but I guess it could be.
I have no clue.
We broke Dr. B's brain.
I have no idea.
Does he have any other uses for your throat that don't cause injury? See, the thing is, Dr. B's going to go to a story about dental school when they had to see slides of traumatic fellatio and people's throats being injured from dick, but that's not where that was going.
So I'll tell the whole story. I'll tell the whole
sure
story.
want to.
Since you already started, since you uncorked it, there we go. Thank you. So we had a. Sorry, we can wait.
We can wait.
We can all wait till you're done.
There we go. So, so in dental school, taking an oral pathology class, and we had a teacher our professor who he was pretty raunchy and funny and told a lot of off jokes. I can't do this. So
one day he was showing a picture of a mouth. So like you look at someone's mouth open and it's being lit, and there's like
look like a bruise in the back of the mouth, and he's like went through and he described what the histology that looked like on slides from the biopsy, all of
Can we
those
go back to the voice changer?
sort of things. No, let me finish.
I'll let you finish in a minute. So he had showed this picture, and it's a mouth. You see a mouth open with like a bruise in the back, and he talks about again all the histology and the cells and what it looked like. And at the end, he's like, "And this is what happens with traumatic fellatio." And we're all like we're laughing, and all of a sudden in the front row, there's always that one person. Like this hand went up, and we're like, "Oh no. Don't ask it. She's gonna do it. She's gonna ask." And she's like, "Do it. What is traumatic fellatio?" And I think it took about 15 minutes before we could start class again. Yeah, it was traumatic. Yeah, it was.
Is it more or less traumatic than the voice changer?
This is.
Do you want to see the other ones?
Do you actually do this during the stream?
Sometimes.
And your numbers are still going up?
Yes, it's so rude.
How did this just not go blank? Like, people are like, "I'm fucking out." Listen to them two chipmunks.
Listen, there's more.
But wait, there's more. This is the monster voice. What do you think? It's good, right? Hey, this is what I normally sound like all the time. My right, deep, very white voice that's smooth and soothing. It's very. We also have a robot.
This is a large robot. It's good. And like I said, there are still people here. That can't be. Don't make me little robot you. Because it's not okay. Little robot doesn't work for you. And the little robot doesn't work for you.
And then there's the other monster voice. Hi. Is this what you do with all your day? It's like trying to figure out which voice to use? No wonder you're like, I gotta get a new mixing board and I need to make the lightning sound from Kevin. Magic! Don't give me a hard time about the mixing board or I'll chipmunk you again. Don't make me chipmunk you. I will chipmunk you all day long. I'm so glad I'm not wearing my glasses as I can't see what this is. Because this has gotta be just going to hell in a handbasket.
I need you to reevaluate your feelings on the soundboard. I need you to just take a minute and just like, I need you to chill out on the soundboard. It's rad.
Next time I do this, I sit over there. You sit over here.
Oh no, you don't get to control the soundboard.
Yes.
You're not controlling the soundboard. No. We need to go back to some more questions.
Okay.
You
well,
love me
there's
so
nobody
much.
left. After
Everyone
that,
is still
after
left.
This shitscapade.
It's not a shitscapade. Everyone is still here. I don't know how many people are in the chat. Oh, there's over 6,000 people in the chat. Calm down.
Sorry, people.
It's gotten a little loud. We need to.
Yeah.
The music's almost done. You like the music?
Oh, that was the best segment in internet entertainment ever.
Well, you're so thrilling. Hogue, it's good to see you, friend. I was told by Miss Hogue Law that I had to come visit because this was so cute. She was here for
The chipmunk voices. My husband didn't know that we had a voice changer. He just knew that I got a new soundboard and rearranged my office for the 900th time.
But do you know what the best thing is about the sound? Is that your movements actually started to mimic a chipmunk. Like you started to have little chipmunk movements.
I love this voice. Sometimes when you're reading legal documents, it's the only voice to accurately capture the ridiculousness of it all.
Do you know what's really weird about this? Is that in my headphones I can hear the chipmunk, but I can still hear your voice coming over, and I'm like, wow, this is weird.
Honey, you're going to have to process faster. I need you to get onto this level. Okay?
Okay.
No, don't go looking for more whiskey. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. Elaine! All right, we need to get
back into our chat.
Thank goodness.
Oh, you don't like the voice changer?
Oh, I think that was just solid entertainment.
It was great. It was what?
What? Who?
You talked about traumatic fellatio in a chipmunk voice. I don't know what's better entertainment than that. Things you don't talk about in law school generally, unless you're in crim law, are traumatic fellatio. But that's all right. That's all right. Nancy P's on this wavelength with you. She said, "Thank you. That was fucking annoying." You're welcome, Nancy P. You're welcome. Can we do this every Friday night? Sadly, no. I mean, football season is coming to an end, but you know. Yeah. We're gonna get to a few more questions. Or comments. Janice said, when I started at OU in 81, it was $15 a credit an hour. Now it's in the hundreds. I can't imagine what my pharmacy degree would cost now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, I imagine. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Laura said homesick with COVID after maybe giving it to my whole family at Thanksgiving. Oh, Laura, that's an uncomfortable phone call. Thank you for being here, especially tonight. I am ADHD, former employment lawyer, now social media producer, and appreciate you so much. Appreciate you for being here, Laura. Good luck. Feel better.
Definitely take care of yourself.
And I hope the family doesn't get it. Loved every second of the soundboard fun. The soundboard's great. I love the soundboard. I love it. Friendly reminder to throw out your toothbrush after you get strep.
Oh yeah, when Griffin had strep, this year. The kids had COVID, strep, and the flu.
You had like bronchitis, pneumonia, and strep all
Strep
at
as
the same
well.
time.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was really pleased to hear the nurse say. She said, like, okay, here's your antibiotics. You're going to start your treatment after 3 days of being on the antibiotics. Change out your toothbrush. And you probably should do that whenever you are sick. Change it out unless you have one of the UV bacterial
To clean it.
cleaners.
Yep. Irish, good to see you. I adore your humor. Keep the voices, please. The voices aren't going anywhere. They are for live streams. They are for live streams, and we love them. We love the chipmunk voice. See, there it is. We won't tolerate voice changer disrespect in this stream. Exactly. Exactly. And we've talked about all the things. Y'all have a lot of dental questions. We need to do a dental Q&A stream that I like advertise and stuff. Because y'all have a lot. We'll do an Ask a Dentist stream. Because y'all have a lot of dental
Too bad
questions.
we don't know one.
Huh?
Oh, who would we get to do that?
What?
Never mind.
See, it's not funny if I don't. I'm just kidding. If I don't think it's funny. Hoglaw said, wow, traumatic sex references was the content I didn't expect, but should have. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. We were talking about throat injuries. That was the chat's fault, not my fault at all. That was 100% on the chat. But chat, we love you. You guys are always right. We're going to go to a couple of questions from over on Patreon at the Law Nerd community. Elizabeth Fitzpatrick asked, what happened to Dr. B to cause him to retire from practicing? Do you want to talk about breaking your wrist, or shall I? No, he's like, I don't want to talk about this at all. Dr. B broke his wrist and it caused nerve damage, and that ended up being the end of practicing in a traditional way.
I have a hand that doesn't work very well and is partially numb.
However, you're still here, and that's exciting. We've lost way too many friends. And the fun fact about that injury is I left the district attorney's office with some space to make sure that whatever we did next, at the time it was consulting, was going to have room to grow. I left in February. Brian got injured in May. It was that was not how we expected life to go.
No.
We've had a lot of those moments where life has been like, oh, you had plans? Adorable.
And the hard thing was too, it was coming back from celebrating my 50th birthday.
Yep.
And the trip we took, and lo and behold, boom.
Yeah, boom goes the dynamite. He was just like, I don't even, but that, you know what? It's something that we have to talk about.
We do?
I mean, we don't, but it's not your fault you got hurt. Injury happens. It's just so traumatic when it happens because it changes everything. And that's why teaching.
And it just changed my trajectory of life and where I thought I was going.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a dentist since as early as I can remember.
And I think that's the hardest thing is it was, you were 15 years into building your practice. So like the business and the team, everything was at a point where we had gotten over like the peaks and valleys, and things felt like they were smooth. Things felt like they were going well. I've got to say though, and I know that it's hard to like silver lining it because it was really a traumatic event. I'm really glad we didn't have to own a dental practice through COVID.
True.
That would have been really hard.
And COVID definitely did close the other dental practice I was trying to do.
Yep. But we moved to Tennessee. Yeah. Look, we have definitely been through all of the ups and downs and ups and downs. When we were looking back at some of your old yearbooks, people were talking about you being a dentist from the time you were in like 5th, 6th grade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably about 3rd grade.
Hence the going back to teach, because Brian will still be giving back to the dental community. When did you move to Tennessee? We moved in the summer of 2020.
So July.
Yeah. I mean, we sold our house in what, May? April, May?
I think so.
May? Somewhere in there. Time is a construct and dates are fuzzy because, I'm not
especially
a time
during
lord.
COVID. Time got funky. And
yeah. So, I mean, we had other dentists. We had a dentist that was in our community who was out working on his car and it fell. So when all of this happened, I know that you were deeply, deeply upset because it changed your entire career after I had just changed my entire career. But I had an injury that changed my entire life trajectory when I hurt my shoulder and stopped playing water polo. Not as significant as changing a career path. But I was glad you were still okay. Like your life changed in your professional work, but your day to day, you're still okay. Like you're still here. And I've been um so thankful for that. Truly.
Mhm.
He's like, "No, that's too heavy. Can we
No,
get back to talking about lighter topics?" Yes, we can.
I can definitely say that the one positive thing that did come out of that experience is I finally got to know my kids. Because prior to
I
that,
wasn't going to talk about
no,
how
I
much
know.
you worked.
Prior to that, I worked 12, 14, if not more hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
I always brought work home. I had lab work to do. I was always doing something. It was
Yep.
always on my mind. Like I would kind of tune out for a moment, and Emily would be like, "You're thinking about work, aren't you, or a case?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Always had like a notepad or something to make notes on stuff that I was thinking about.
Yep.
Even
So
w-
it changed our life quite a lot. But it was, I think, I don't know, when you can find a silver lining, it was at the time it was very hard to live through. But here we are.
Mhm.
He's like, and we're moving on. Simply Susan wants to know if an electric toothbrush will loosen a bridge. Dr. B is going to say something like, not a good one.
Not a good bridge or not a good electric toothbrush.
Not a good bridge.
Your electric toothbrush should not loosen your bridge, but depending on how long your bridge has been in, the cement film underneath it can start dissolving and breaking down. And then depending if it's an ultrasonic toothbrush, it might speed that up. If it's loose, go see your dentist.
And there you go.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Dr. B.
It's okay.
It's just it is. Let's see. I'm gonna look for a few more. I'm Marcia over on Patreon said, I am a middle school teacher and would like to work in the juvenile justice department system. Did you do much work with juvenile justice? Brian loved my time working in juvenile court. Juvenile court was one of the hardest assignments I ever did at the DA's office. There were no good answers, there were no good solutions. Everything was sad. It was a very difficult time. I'm thankful for the time I worked there. I was not mentally prepared for how difficult working in juvenile was. Were you?
I'm going to say good on you if you're ready to do that and you want to help that out in that area. That is a very trying world from my experience. And I will tell you how it came to affect me.
We're gonna make this about
yeah.
Dr. B. Let's
No,
talk
no,
about
no,
you
no,
for
no,
a
because
minute.
this is not just about me, but just about the experience. When you're a couple and your spouse or someone comes home and you're like, "Hey, how was your day? Tell me about your day." You want to share in what was going on. It got to the point where when Emily would come home, I'm like, "Just tell me if it was good or bad. Don't tell me details. I don't want to hear anything because I'm going to tell you right now, you are fucking up my life. You are fucking up how I see the world. I cannot you're making it hard for me to exist as a human being, knowing that there is so many atrocities that are going on and some of the stories that you would share. You just like, how do you move on from that? How do you get past that?" And I couldn't. I really struggled. And it's not that I have lived such a sheltered life and I don't know about the
Most people
hardships.
live a sheltered life from the shit that you see as a working in the criminal
Oh
justice
my God,
system.
it was saddening. It was,
It was sad.
so saddening.
But I will say, being a teacher in juvenile,
Mhm.
you would be in a different position to make a positive impact. And that was one of the frustrating parts for the lawyers, is not having the ability to make an impact in a great way. And that was very, very difficult. Um, is really there was no right answer. And so that was hard, is because there was just no right answer for it. So yeah. Ginger asks, is Dr. P Norwegian? His modest demeanor seems very Scandinavian.
My grandma Baker was Scandinavian.
Yep.
So there's some in there.
Yep. There
And,
is.
and also, whether this matters, is I lived with my grandparents most of my life, and they were all Depression era individuals and lived that Depression era life, even when they didn't need to. So a lot of that came onto me.
Yep. So You got to, I mean, I lived across the country from a lot of my family. You live very closely with your grandparents. We had
Mhm.
all of your grandparents at our wedding, which was pretty
Yes.
incredible.
And you
So-
remember my grandparents gave us a ride to the reception because we didn't have a ride.
We had a ride. Our
Well,
ride bailed
right.
on us. I think they were drinking the wine. I don't know what happened. We had a ride from our wedding venue to our reception venue, and our ride bailed. So Brian's grandparents were like, "Y'all okay?" And we're like, "Actually."
But it was actually cool because we got to ride in the Cadillac.
They
So
loved
that was the only time we
they
had been in the
loved
Cadillac.
that Cadillac
so
so
being in the
much.
Caddy was fun.
It was
Yeah.
very significant for them to drive the Cadillac all the way up to the South Bay for the wedding. It was very fun. So it was great to get to know your grandparents and then to get to see our grandparents together. We were very blessed to have them. And we got to see our grandparents together, and especially my Italian side of the family and your Italian side of the family. That was treasured.
Yeah.
It really, really was.
And then just coming back to the Caddy, coming back to it. So my grandparents from New Jersey, New York, by the time they could actually get a Caddy, I mean, they had been retired and whatnot. I mean, it was like the highlight of their life. Like
It was.
like we have a Caddy. Like we've
Like
made
you
it.
could tell it was their kind of American dream. Like
Yeah.
drive a Cadillac was in that realm of like, this is when we've made it. But your grandpa was delivering milk by horse and buggy to support his family when
Yeah.
he was
Yeah,
a
and-
kid.
Unfortunately, my grandfather, when he was in high school, his father passed away and he was the eldest. So it was up to him to take over and provide for the family. So I think he was a senior in high school, if I remember right. So he got a milk route in New
I
York.
don't know if he was a senior. I think he was younger than
He
that.
may have been a junior.
Yeah.
But he got a milk route to deliver milk at night and then went to school during the day.
What's crazy is when he would tell that story that I loved. When he would tell that story, they hired him and gave him no instructions, no direction. And he's like, I got in and waited for the horse to go and stop. So
Yeah.
he would deliver milk at the houses where the horse
Well,
stopped.
and you forget a few of the details. He actually sat there in the snow because it was snowing on the horse and sat there for at least 10 minutes. Like, I have no idea where to go, what to do. Finally, he just said to the horse, giddy up. Like he just
Like-
tapped the horse to get it to go. Figured the horse stopped at the first place. He somehow figured out who he had to get milk to and did it and did that all through the rest of high school.
Can you imagine
Mm-mm.
kids today being like, do a job, we're giving you no instruction, go, and like them just figuring
Figure
it
it out.
out?
No.
I can't imagine. Somebody's parent would call and lose their minds.
Well, I mean, for a kid to be working at night, something like that in New York, no.
I had friends in high school that worked at night and then came to school. It was, and to then it was wild to me, but you appreciate life differently when you see people who don't live the same way you do. You know,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I can't either. But I mean, it's not like you had the world's most glamorous jobs either. I mean, what age were you when you started working?
I actually started working in the 8th grade. So I had my stepmom who worked at a liquor store. So I would go in on the weekends, bag ice, stock soda and beer and all those sort of things that need to be done at a liquor store. Back in those days when people would bring back soda bottles and stuff for a nickel or a dime or whatever it was, all those had to be organized. So I did that, and I actually did not get paid for that job. But for that job, I actually got a sandwich from the deli and any soda I wanted. And I thought that was the greatest thing. I thought that was just awesome.
I mean, free food
Yeah.
is always
Yeah.
a thing.
And
So
then I've worked for the Corps of Engineers. I've worked Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Brian's favorite job ever. He will still not go
I will
back to
not eat there.
KFC. He's like, I can't
Yeah.
smell the smell. I can't smell the smell. I can't go. I can't.
I worked retail. This is just high school. These are the
Yeah.
jobs of high school. And then also I raised pigs.
You did
Yeah.
successfully raise pigs. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's different now. I would like our kids to be able to work there. And the thing about Tennessee that I enjoy is there are still kids in high school that are working, like the ice cream shops and the candy shops and stuff like that. We still see that. Where in Southern California, that had basically disappeared. I mean, those jobs were just taken by adults that needed jobs. So it was different. I mean, I started working, was I 15 I think I was 15 when I started teaching swim lessons and
And lifeguarding?
lifeguarding. Yeah. But I worked food service briefly. I was terrible at food service. Very, very bad. Retail You laugh because it's true.
Because I used to visit her where she worked, and it was just hilarious.
I was not good at food
It
service.
was a lot of like, what do you mean? You wanted what with that? Wait, did
ADHD
you tell me that?
and food service were
Oh,
not
I'm
good.
sorry, I forgot.
I enjoyed working retail. I did. I really, really liked working retail.
Oh no, wait. You know what else? I remember always hearing the cooks yelling at you.
Always.
Always.
In both English
Yeah.
and Spanish. My Spanish was good enough to understand what they were saying to me. They generally thought that I was stupid. Because look, I was not good at food service. I was much, much better, but I'd worked in insurance. I'd worked as a secretary. I've worked retail.
Mhm.
I worked as an EMT. I've a camp counselor. I mean, well, horseback riding
Yeah.
camp counselor. So we've had quite a lot of jobs. I just hope our kids get to have that experience too. Like the world has changed so much. I really, really want them to be able to have that experience.
Someone put it in perspective when they were talking about the loss of the summer job for the young, because by the time you get now, say maybe out of college or out of high school,
Mhm.
you've already had a handful of jobs. So you've had a handful of different bosses. So you've been treated differently and understand how to work and how different bosses treat you. So if you've never had a job and then all of a sudden you come out into a
Job.
a job,
You go work
and-
at Twitter.
and you've never worked before, you're like, holy shit, what is this?
Yeah.
Then you're the person who's at HR, like, all the time.
What was shocking to me is as the principal for my kids' elementary school previously is a wonderful human. And she and I had talked about teachers coming in for job interviews, their parents calling in advance or their parents coming with them. They were interviewing to teach, to teach, to teach. It was wild. I don't want to be that parent. You're going to not let me be that parent, right?
No, it's not going to happen.
It's nice in Tennessee to still see high school kids working their summer jobs, working at the pools, working at camp, working with you had high school kids working at, Brian got his first experience at summer camp this past summer, working with the younger, the Cub Scouts. And there were high school kids there working with you too. KD asked a great question. Hold on. We got to answer this question because my ADHD wants it answered now, and then we can move on. Tips for finding a new dentist after moving.
Ask people, you just ask around, because that was the hardest thing for me when we moved here, because I don't know anybody in the community. I spent probably 4 weeks trying to find a dentist and just being completely frustrated because, again, not knowing anybody in the area. So finally, I just started asking around. And then from those people, I looked at their website, their Yelp reviews, anything I could find on them to try and get a sense of what kind of dentist they were. And then I would sometimes even just call the office and try to get information. And for me, like one of the questions I would ask in the course of a conversation is like, what magnification does the dentist wear? And then if they'd be like, most of the time it was like, I don't know. They're like, are you talking about those glasses with the magnifying lips on it? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I don't know, but I know they wear those. And I'm like, okay, that was my start. But for me, I would never see a dentist who doesn't wear magnifying loops. But you just got to ask around, call around, talk to the front desk. You'll get a lot of perspective from the front desk as well. And also, especially if you can find someone who's a hygienist who works in an office, ask them too. They'll be honest with you.
They will be honest with you. And if they don't like the office they'll work at, they'll tell you that too.
Yeah.
Hygienists are very much like hairdressers in that they know everything and they don't hold back.
Mm-hmm.
They know the secrets. Passenger shaming, good to see you, friend. Why did you choose Tennessee? We have two podcast episodes about moving to Tennessee, but when I knew that it was time for me to be done in California, I was the first one in the family to come to that decision. And as ADHD folks do, sometimes you have the force of will where it's like, we're moving. And my husband's like, we're doing what? I'm like, moving. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, out of state. He's like, what?
It wasn't quite that way. We had already had a plan where we knew we were going to move to Tennessee. We'd already
No, 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 no,
we'd
no,
already
not at the
been out here.
beginning.
We'd already been out here and visited.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no.
Oh,
At
you're
the
you're even
beginning.
going back further?
Yes, back
Okay, all right.
further. So when I first started looking, it was a I am ready to move. Where do I want to move to? And with that, we looked at kind of the weather swath of the country. Like SoCal's here, and I kind of made a line across like above this is too much snow, below this hurricanes, that's not going to work. So
And
here's the
then
swath.
Here's Tornado Alley, so that's gone too.
I mean, we're kind of
Yeah, but
in it a bit.
not as bad as some of the other areas.
No, don't say that shit out loud.
Yeah.
So we kind of swathed it across, or I did. And then I started looking at, for me, what mattered work-wise. Internet, international airport, less people than California. And then we started looking at the other things.
Is it close to a Target? Is there a Trader Joe's?
Is there a Trader Joe's?
Yeah.
Trader Joe's really helped us narrow down states. And then it was Tesla friendliness, because at that point I'd already bought my car. Because when I bought my car, I had intended on staying in Southern California, and then life changed. But I love my car. So can my car work?
Yeah.
Like Arkansas, we've driven through Arkansas, not very many superchargers for the Tesla. Changing now, but when we were looking at Tennessee, very Tesla friendly, because, well, I think it's because of the music industry, truly.
Either way,
Very Tesla
there's
friendly.
a lot of Teslas.
So those were kind of the beginnings. And then I needed an Apple store. And then I needed at least one in-store Vuitton. And then like there were things. I had a list of things that I was like, these are things I needed. And so when we started looking at areas, Tennessee became more and more attractive.
And even part was like, can we go to a concert? Is there going to
Yeah.
be music? Because that was definitely, we're like, okay, we got to be able to, see the Offspring play. We
Yep.
got to be able to come
Which we've
somewhere.
done. And
Yeah.
and are there any dental schools if Dr. B, by the time we got to oh, we're going to close a business, sell our house and move, then it was, are there options for work for
Yeah.
B2? Can he transfer his license? Can I transfer my license if I wanted to? What are we going to do? And so I had friends that lived in this area, or acquaintances that became friends that lived in this area. A good friend had grown up in this area. I had come out to visit. Then the whole family came out to visit, and we were like, okay, we're going to do this. So we didn't have family here. We still don't have family here for the time being. They're all like, we're never moving. I'm like, you say that now. And then we found an area that we liked, and then things kind of fell into place. I'm like, we're doing this. Okay. We were on FaceTime with our realtor when we bought this house, and it still wasn't done being built yet. And it was a massive leap of faith.
Yeah.
So, and I love it. And it was, we truly, less people became the rallying cry for where are we going to live. Like the entire state of Tennessee has less people than LA County. And that was a huge thing for us. And smaller class sizes was a big thing too for us with our kids in public school. Even though a lot of people here do have their kids in smaller private schools, we've always had our kids in public school, and that wasn't a deal breaker for us. And our kids have had a great experience in school here. What California will lie to you about is that everything sucks outside of California. That's not true. Our grocery store has more diversity in products. I think our produce is great. Our farmers markets, we have more variety. Our support at school, our youngest has an IEP. Our oldest, I won't share as much on the internet because he's more cognizant about it, but we've had more support with that, especially with our youngest, with IEPs and with special ed. We've had way more support than we had in California. And that's not because the people at our school weren't great. It's because there just weren't as many resources, because there's so many people. And that's been a huge difference. Our schools also, truthfully, are racially more diverse than they were in Southern California. And that's been important to us and to our kids as well. So we've just had a huge opportunity to move, and we took it. And I love Tennessee. I love Middle Tennessee. We really try not to be those Californians. So we really, really try to love it. So I saw those of you asking if I've met Tug. No, we haven't met Tug. So I don't know where Tug lives. I'm not going to try to find where Tug lives, but at some point I'm sure that'll happen. We'll go have a drink and have a giggle. What part of Tennessee? We live in Middle Tennessee, outside of Nashville. Let's see. This is the most important question. Miss Freddie, how is the Mexican Oh, so I thought this was going to be Mexican section in the local grocery store. Great.
Yeah.
Can you get the raw pre-made tortillas? I have not looked, but we can probably get them at the farmer's market because we have found people who make incredible homemade tamales. So I imagine that you can. We also found a few Mexican, not Tex-Mex, Mexican restaurants, but we did learn that the Mexican restaurant we love to go to, that all of the chefs are also from Southern California. so, and I love that. So
Yeah.
we have found some good food, but it's just been fantastic. So we love it, and we've had really good experiences here. So Rachel said visiting Nashville in March for an author book signing, only about 4 hours from me. Fantastic. It's been fun. It's fun. Look, there's a lot to do here. It's closer, it's easier to park. Like, these are the things that make a difference for me.
The easy to park. Yeah.
Easy to park is a huge look, just less people. You have water, yeah?
Yeah.
He's like Dr. B. Dr. B has run out of energy. His his introversion has maxed out on streaming. He's like, why are we still talking? I'm gonna
good.
die laughing at
I'm
poor
good.
Dr. B's face. He's
good.
exhausted. I've exhausted him.
Now I'm good.
Lies.
And what the crazy thing that Emily just said about parking was the hard thing to change when we first moved here. And just to illustrate this is that 4th of July, we were going to go up and go to one of the parks and watch the fireworks. So we all get in the car and I'm like, come on, we got to get going. It's already like, we're going to run out of time. There's
I've
going
got
to be
to
no parking.
say, poor Dr. B is the only non-ADHD family member. And so getting our family out of the house
Is challenging for me.
can be challenging because Travis will be like, oh my God, I forgot this. Then I'll be like, oh my God, I forgot that. And then our youngest is like, wait, I need
Where's
this.
my water bottle?
And Dr. B is like, ah!
So we finally get in the car. I'm like, we got to get going. We're not going to, there'll be no, this is just crazy. So we pull in, plenty of parking. We just casually walk over to where we want to sit to see the fireworks. Everything is good. And then about towards the end of the fireworks, everyone's like, hey, let's go to Sonic afterwards and like have a shake or get some food. And I'm like, all right, everyone, we got to get in the car. We got to get going. We're not going to, Sonic's already going to be filled up. This is just going to be crazy. Come on, look, fireworks, they're not done. Who cares? Let's go. So like I run everybody over to the car. We were like the second car getting out of the parking lot. We get to Sonic.
There's like seven people there.
There was like 7 people there. I mean, it was not a problem. And I'm like, I've got to stop this.
Yeah, it was, hey buddy. Fred has entered the chat. It's hard to get used to the slower pace. Things aren't a rush. People aren't rushing to get to the front of the line at everything, rushing to get out of the grocery store, rushing to get the better spot at fireworks. There's a much more like there's room for everybody, because truly there's room for everybody because there's just less people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like you're constantly fighting everyone else to access the same things, and that is a huge difference. So it's been great. It's been a great move for us and for our family, and we've really enjoyed it. There are some times that there are weird moments of like growing up here versus growing up. Brian and I both grew up in the same town in Southern California. So there's times our high school kid will come home and be like, there's this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, kids said that? Like, okay. But we get to parent our kids the way we want to parent our kids. And you know what? His friends are all band friends. And band kids are the best, like band and drama. And those are his friends. I mean, in ROTC. So he's got the whole diverse experience, and he loves it. Our kids have thrived here. And I like that. And Griffin's allergies have been much better, which is a different thing than people were expecting. Did you love the lower sticker shock? We knew that if Brian was going to be able to retire, that lower cost of living was going to be important for us. And we have lowered our cost of living substantially, but upsized our home like 4x, which isn't hard to do from 900 square feet.
Yeah.
True. So it's good. I mean, but neither of us were really city life people. Like that wasn't what we ever liked. We were both looking for a bit of a slower pace. And, you guys, Brian was in FFA growing up. So you
Well,
know.
I think the thing that if you don't live in Southern California, you don't know the perspective that it could take you an hour to go 10 miles,
Yeah.
depending on how bad traffic is. So the fact that you felt like you were always fighting to get somewhere or to be somewhere, we just we just stopped going places. I mean, we're like, if we can't walk there, ride our bike, and if it's just not within our local neighborhood, we're probably not going to do it. So,
Yeah, it just the narrowing we had narrowed down our lives to not fight traffic and to not fight other people. And I feel like we get to do a lot more.
oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do a lot more stuff.
And I feel like there's so much more that we have to do. And the thing that is really interesting about here is there's just so much more history and so much more that is still preserved to learn from.
Yeah, it's been definitely a difference. It's been great. I mean, we've got no complaints about Tennessee. It's and even the things that you're just like, okay, you deal with it. So the chipmunk voices were fantastic. Dr. B's face was priceless when you surprised him with it. Dr. B loves it the most.
Don't you, Dr. B? Dr. B, best advice for a novice dentist 2 years out. What are your favorite and least favorite procedures to do?
Ooh, can I guess? Like the curvy root canals would be least favorite.
So I was trained as a prosthodontist, so I did not do root canals. And that was one of the reasons why I went into pros, because I never wanted to have to do a root canal again.
Wait, was I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Root canals are your
Yeah,
least favorite
yeah,
procedure?
Yeah, it didn't work for me because I couldn't see it. Yeah.
I was right.
2 years out.
Wait, no, favorite procedure.
Oh, for me?
He's like a full mouth of implants.
No, I would geek out on doing a buccal pit. So for me, I would because you could just think, oh my God, this is so boring. This is so easy. I've done this a million times.
No one would ever think that. No one would ever be sitting here going, oh my God, that's so boring.
She knows what I mean by a buccal pit. But
Yeah, y'all are the only ones.
But I would just go into everything that I learned, like, okay, what is the bacteria that's in there? What has caused this? What is the etiology? How is the pit formed? How many lobes does that tooth occur? Just everything. And then I would go into my material science and I would think, okay, how can I enamel rods? Which way do the enamel rods travel at the buccal pit? How can I maximize the bonding effect? Because I'm not going to do an amalgam. I'm doing a composite or a tooth colored filling. How can I maximize that? Can I pre-etch? Can I now, after I'm done, can I sandblast the enamel? And then just everything. I would geek out on everything I did within my mind to keep it interesting.
I'm a nerd.
And
this is why this relationship works.
And even to the point, if I had to do a crown prep and you think, oh my God, just mindlessly as you're just, occlusal reduction, axial reduction.
You have to stay in focus range.
Well, I had the hand motions there, so I had to back up.
You have to raise the hand motions up because the question's still there.
I would look at a tooth and like, okay, how is this gonna look even before I prepped it? And how can I maximize my axial retention? If it gets too short, how can I increase my resistance and retention form? Just everything.
So that's your favorite procedure. What's your best advice for a novice dentist? Because if you keep talking about buckle something, I'm going to get up and go get more whiskey.
The thing you've got, the thing I think that gets missed is you really got to be honest with yourself and honest why you're doing this and that you are really there to help other people. For me, it was never about my ego. It was never about me. I was there to provide a service the best I could for people. And people really understand if you are giving them something that they haven't had before. So like we've said, even as a DA, if you come home and you are not tired because you've emotionally given yourself to people, then you probably haven't been doing enough because you're going to be physically tired. There's no doubt about that. Dentistry is very physically demanding, but it's also emotionally as well because people there are afraid. They're scared. They don't want to be there.
They're stressed.
And you've probably already heard it like, oh, I hate the dentist, but I don't hate you. Okay, after a while, you've heard that every day. You're like, well, this fucking sucks.
You say to the prosecutor.
yeah,
People
yeah.
hated seeing me too, most
So,
of the time.
Really, in like I said, just be honest with yourself, really, and believe in what you do and what you can do. And for me, it was always about doing it better than what I did the day before. And I will freely admit this is I always wanted to be the smartest person in the room. And
Yeah,
that
it explains the alphabet soup after your name.
and that drove me to a lot of things. And even to the point when my lab that I worked with, when I first started working with him, I'm like, who sends you the best preparations for crown and bridge work? And they're like, so and so. And I'm like, what would it take for me to be that person? I'm like, I want to be that person who sends you in the best. And now you may do scans and you may do things where you don't send things to a laboratory. But if I expected the lab to go above and beyond and give me something I wanted, then I had to give them something better than they see from everybody else.
So that's your advice.
Yeah, we could keep going with that.
We wandered.
Yeah.
Buckle class V are our board procedures, is what Donna said. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Okay.
You just huffed. Why did you huff?
Because I don't, board procedures have changed tremendously.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were questions about enamel. You have a go-to thing that you love for enamel. I need more whiskey.
Yeah.
The paste stuff that you love for enamel.
GC, no. MI paste.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to think about that.
MI.
MI paste.
Like
what
MI6.
What was the question about enamel?
There were a bunch of them.
Like, I don't have enamel anymore, or where'd my enamel go, or how do I get more enamel?
We are over 2 hours and 15 minutes, so we're going to have to scoot through the rest of our questions.
Okay,
But there
let's
were a
go.
number of enamel questions. I also need to pour myself a little bit more whiskey if we're going to pop over to Rob's stream. You didn't know we were doing that.
No.
We're going to go visit a friend. It's kind of like a holiday open house. We're going to go visit a friend.
Okay.
Warren, you popped in at the end. Oh, wait, we could have Travis bring us the whiskey. Hold on. Echo, drop in game room. I love having a teen. It's fantastic. You can ask for things. Will you ask him? So Dr. B is not an endocrinologist or a cardiologist. He's a maxillofacial prosthodontist. So there's that. Have you played Breath of the Wild? Yes, it's fucking amazing and I love it. But right now I'm very, very deeply invested in Pokemon. Then take the headphones off for a second and ask Travis to help us out. So it's been. You're welcome for the Jay Edelson session. It was great.
Will you come downstairs? Will you bring in the salted watermelon whiskey?
Travis,
Yes.
can you go to the kitchen, grab the whiskey, and bring it into the office?
Fine.
Thank you.
Did you mute yourself when you
No,
yelled?
no, I absolutely did not mute myself.
Like everybody just was like, oh,
Sorry, y'all. Best advice for us suckers with crappy enamel.
that's more.
Travis is like, oh my God, my parents are so lame. Yes. So best advice with crappy enamel is MI paste. Yes. Did I simplify it too much? He's going to be like, you simplified it too much.
If you're really just looking to put something on to replace poorly developed enamel, yeah, MI paste is one of the best things that will do that and help protect it. But you got to brush, you got to floss, got to take care of it. If you're already deficient in enamel, you are going to be prone to cavities and things happening. So you got to take care of things better.
Thanks. Oh my God. You're not funny. Stop.
You got to do that in front of the.
No.
Yes.
No. Thank you, Trav.
Thank you, T.
Can you hand me that?
No, I got it. This
I
one's
got
fine.
it. Thank you,
No,
buddy.
no, go.
Have a good have fun. You're welcome to take the cat with you. Disney Freak said, I have sojourns. My teeth are brittle. My dentist decided to do all root canals and crowns on my teeth and pull molars. Now I'm having to get implants due to that. My crowns are breaking down above the gums. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that sucks.
Thanks, Travis. I'm sorry. My
Because
teeth
of that
is
too, you're
not
going to have to
super
be really
sensitive.
careful with your implants as well. You're going to have to be meticulous on how you take care of them.
Yeah.
Because
So-
the decrease in saliva is going to create can potentially create problems as well.
There you go. The neurodivergent counselor said, school counselor here for teeny humans. Teeny humans are the best humans even when they're the biggest hot mess express, and deal with the worst things. Teeny humans are great. I think the hard part for me with working in juvenile was that I did not have the tools that were needed to help. I had like one hammer and it's like, I need a screwdriver. And they're like, you have a hammer. And it's like, but actually I just need to take some notes. I need paper and a pen. They're like, you have a hammer. So it was not having the tools we needed was hard. So
And I don't know if to say at this point, it wasn't always a problem with the teeny humans. It was the parental support for the teeny
it
humans.
often wasn't the kids.
Yeah.
The juveniles were rarely the problem. The circumstances were often quite a problem. There were a few juveniles that the kid was the problem, but it was the rare case.
One of the saddest stories that you told me. Oh, was that to move on? Were we moving?
Nope.
All right. Was when the kid was arrested because he was at Target stealing one pair of underwear,
He was
one pair of socks.
We're not going to traumatize the chat, but he was opening packages because he had no clothes and didn't want to steal, but didn't know what to do and was taking like one of the things. And the police tried to take the kiddo home and walked into the house and were like, you can't stay here. And walked out and called social services and brought him to juvie on the thefts. And we're like, hey, we're going to try to figure out the best way to help you. I'm sorry that you have to be here. But kids weren't in the juvenile facility where I was, kids weren't in danger. They were in like a school camp facility. It was just you cannot be at home and we have no good place for you to be safe and you're not safe at home. And it was frustrating for everyone involved. It was frustrating for everyone involved, but some of the kids were really, truly incredible.
Sorry, Fred is now actually trying to jump on
No,
on our
Fred's
laps.
laying down
Well, he's
under
now
your feet.
He's clawing at my feet.
So a lot of juvenile was heartbreaking. So is dentist MD, DDS? Some
DDS
dentists are MD. It just depends.
Usually if you're an oral surgeon and you've gone on to medical school as well.
Dr. B, are you comfortable giving recommendations while you're drunk on the internet for implants in Los Angeles? I'm going to guess that that's maybe a no.
I will only give just
General
casual-
recommendations in the
general
South Bay?
recommendation. For a dentist?
For implants.
Oh, for implants. I mean, as a surgeon?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question. I
Well,
don't know
you
what
need
they're
an
asking.
oral surgeon to place the implants, and then you need someone
So
to
you
the
need a
treatment
good
plan.
restorative dentist to help guide the team and work with you and your surgeon, whether it's a periodontist, oral surgeon, or
Yes.
general dentist.
So I'm going to get through a few more of the super chats. If I missed any, I'm sorry. But Dr. B is not going to fill in with banter is what's happening. So who was your starter? I went with the duck and I really like the evolution. So Quaxley is quite cute. I named Quaxley Duck. So every time it comes out, it's like, go duck. And he's very sassy, but it's because Griffin wanted to start with the grass kitty. So
Is this Pokemon?
yes.
Okay.
We moved from Sacramento to Buffalo last winter because why not? I mean, moving to Buffalo in the winter sounds hard, but other than that, yay. I'm near Atlanta and I use an educational advocate for our IEP meetings because they're not great. How about you? Look, I've sat through my own IEPs and I generally know what I'm looking for. So I do that, though there are times it is hard. But our school has been nothing but fantastic working with us. So I've really been happy with our school. Majestic Mythical Arts. I need to hear the career change, but I am a dog groomer and I love it, but I hurt my shoulder and had to have surgery, been out of work for a year and not sure I'll be able to go back. It's hard. It is. I talk about that in my TEDx talk. It is difficult. Please go over to Rob's stream and have him explain the stack to Dr. B. I mean, we might have to do that. How does Dr. B not know about the Wood Daddy stack? You made it trend. I know. And I was like, Dr. B, we trended on Twitter. He's like, what does that mean? Also toss eyeliner when you get pink eye and lipstick when you get anything. That's true.
Yeah.
And yes.
Good point.
When God closes a door, he opens a window somewhere else.
Sometimes it's hard to see.
It can be
Takes a
very
while.
difficult to see. Follow-up question about moving. How did you find a realtor? The internet. My wife and I are looking to move across the US and need to find one. What I've realized would have probably been a better option was to ask the current realtors that we trusted in our area if they had a recommendation. They generally will have people that they've met at conferences or other things and can give a recommendation. We should have done that.
Mhm.
But the internet is how I found my realtor. And then I had a couple initial calls with them before we signed anything and had a lot of chats, and they knew exactly what we were looking for and they were great. So that's how we found our realtor. So it just takes, I mean, all of it takes time and effort, right? It's just like on Thanksgiving where we're like, the potatoes don't seem hot yet because our oven wasn't holding temperature. Fantastic. Which Pokemon game is it? Scarlet Violet. And we ended up with both versions because our kids are, well, me and my youngest are playing them. Okay, so I was telling Dr. B last night because I'm like, leave me to play Pokemon. And he's like, come to bed. I'm like, I want to play Pokemon. He's like, but then you're tired. I'm like, but I want to play Pokemon. So I was trying to play Pokemon, and I have one Pokemon who's a total dick. He's just a dick. He ignores what I'm asking him to do. He's like, this Pokemon's doing this. This Pokemon's pretending he can't hear you. And I was telling Griffin, I'm like, Griffin, my Pokemon will not listen to me. And Griffin's like looking at it and he's like, he's level 30. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, how many gym badges do you have? I'm like, 1. And he's like, you don't have enough gym badges for this Pokemon. I'm like, wait, what? So my kids are helping me be better. I am very good at Pokemon Go. I am not great at the Bane games. Oh my God, Fred. What are you, he's just like, he's gone completely limp. He's drooling and he's slipping off my lap.
Heavy drooler.
This cat, when he is happy, drools like there is nothing else. So he doesn't know where he wants to be. He doesn't know where he wants to be. We're going to wrap up soon and head over to Rob's stream to say hello real quick. So thank you all for the super chats. If I didn't get to them, I apologize. Captain Uwe the Barmy, good to see you. Had braces twice. I'm known for my glowing smile. Hit 40. Front teeth started chipping like WTF. I took the dive and ordered True Smile veneers. Your thoughts? Why did my teeth randomly go to shat? It's probably not random. He's going to say something about grinding your teeth and sleep, I imagine. Dr. B?
We could probably go back to why did you have to have braces twice? Because if your teeth moved after you had braces, and it's very easy to say that, oh, well, I didn't wear my retainer because I was 14 when I had braces, and why would I wear a retainer? But there's some different thoughts on that. So if teeth are wearing down, I mean, there's so many factors here. I'm trying to narrow this down.
The problem with dental
if your teeth are starting to chip and crack and wear down, it's because you probably have a lot of heavy function on those front teeth, whether they are edge to edge or there's something going on. I mean, teeth are meant to last a lifetime, but if they're not working in harmony with the other teeth, then they're going to start breaking down. The veneers that you ordered, unfortunately, I don't have any thought or understanding or what those are. But again, if your teeth, I'm like feeling like a dick to say the next part. If your teeth chipped, what do you think is going to happen to the veneers?
He's not afraid to say it. Here's the thing. Look at whether you're grinding and have somebody look at the wear on your teeth, and then look at whether an appliance can help prevent that a little bit at night.
Yeah.
Because that's where grinding occurs most frequently.
For most people, yes.
I'm not a dentist. I'm just married to one.
And for me, always whenever I did a veneer case, big or small, and someone had chipped teeth, it was always, okay, why did your teeth chip? Let's figure that out first. Let's remove that etiology, and then we're going to put veneers on that are going to last hopefully a lifetime, at least. Okay, that's a dream, but at least, 15, 20
They're like
years.
breast implants. They need to be replaced sometimes. Lynn P, do you have veneers? No. I have chipped teeth.
I have composites.
I need to bleach again. I have chipped teeth. Yeah, I do. I need to bleach again. No, I have chipped teeth from water polo. I should have worn a guard. I didn't. We just didn't back in the day. I should have. We didn't. I don't know how many people do now. They should.
When you see the Olympics, you see a number of them.
Mouth guards.
I remember the last time. Yeah.
Wear mouth guards. It makes it harder
Australia.
to breathe, but it's worth it. Question, any teeth for jaw clenching, teeth grinding in sleep? Brian's going to say, wait. Can I guess? Have a sleep study first. After you have a sleep study to determine if you have or do not have any sleep interruptions like sleep apnea, then a night appliance is the appropriate remedy to look at. Was I close?
Yeah, no, that was actually good.
Was
really,
it?
the current research is showing that sleep bruxism is really brought on by disruptions in your sleep breathing pattern. And that's really been supported in the research. There is definitely a part of stress and anxiety that is there. There's pain as well. If you're a chronic pain patient as well, you could destroy your teeth in your sleep. So you got to look at these potential things. And if really for people who came in, I got to the point in my practice where someone's like, I need a night guard, I'm grinding my teeth. I'm like, you need a sleep study first. And they're like, well, I'm not going to get a sleep study. And I'm like, well, we can do one through the office. We have an overnight kit that we can send with you right now if you'd like. And we would do that. And majority of the time we'd find out that people did have a significant sleep breathing disorder that was the trigger, the etiology for the bruxism to occur. And the reason why sorry to keep going here. The reason you brux or grind.
Oh, you're not though. He's not
Yeah.
sorry to keep going. No, he's
reason you-
apologizing because he thinks I'm bored.
Well, because this is the important part. The reason why you brux or grind when you stop breathing is because that's your body's protective reflex in order to open up your airway.
No, you've got to move this way so you stay in the light. You just both of us started leaning on our elbows this way because
that was the whiskey. So, so really finding out what is the cause for it. Yeah,
first.
because now that there's some really good studies that have shown that if you just put a night guard appliance in and someone does have a sleep breathing disorder, you will actually make it significantly worse.
Cause first.
Yeah.
Diarte, thank you so much for the comment. What brand glasses does Dr. B have? Ray-Bans fit all my boys' faces. So my boys love the Ray-Bans. Jessica said yesterday was my 50th birthday and I still cooked because I am too controlling to let anyone else do it. I mean, relatable. So happy to relax with y'all tonight.
Happy birthday.
There were a significant number of years in our relationship where I wouldn't let anyone else load the dishwasher. I've become much less controlling.
Nothing is more frustrating than to have a dishwasher loaded
the wrong way.
Be like
the wrong way.
No, to be sitting like at my desk and doing something, and I can hear the dishes like clinking and moving around. I'm like, a woman, what are you doing?
Reloading the dishwasher because it was loaded wrong.
Yeah, because they don't get clean the way I load it.
Not always. Yeah. Not when you load the big plates before the small plates. They got to go smallest to largest. They like to be with their compatriots, small to large.
I have the feeling of the dishwasher, load it as much as you can because the more that goes in, the less I have to hand wash. So I have adopted that philosophy in practice.
And it's always worked so well for you, hasn't it?
It has. We have clean dishes all the time.
I mean, sometimes things break and can't be used anymore because they're not dishwasher safe. But other than that, it's totally fine.
That's sometimes what happens.
He's like, it's the price I'm willing to pay to never hand wash anything ever again, ever. Because fuck that.
To have that ice cream scooper no longer with us, I'm okay with.
I'm not. R.I.P. ice cream scooper.
I think that was actually a wedding gift too.
We realized this year, we're like, God, we still have things that are wedding gifts. They're really old.
No, not the ice cream scooper. The ice cream scooper is long gone.
Oh,
it's
been
that thing went in the dishwasher and it sounded like it had rocks in it afterwards, like it rattled.
Yeah. Improperly loaded dishwashers are difficult, are very, very difficult. Same
what
with
is improperly a loaded dishwasher? For crying out loud.
It's true.
If the dishes are in there and they get clean, who gives a fuck how it goes in?
Polly said, so do you load your autoclave like that? With the sass, Polly. Polly brought the fire in the chat. Do you load your autoclave like that then?
I will be totally honest. I probably wouldn't even know how to turn the autoclave on or how to load it.
His team did that.
My team did that, and I made sure they were always properly trained on how to do that.
And then you never did it.
Yeah.
Lily said, chemo killed my teeth. Lily, I'm sorry to hear it. I know chemo wreaks havoc on the mouth. Brian actually was doing a lot of treatment with a friend of mine that was going through chemo and radiation before she passed. It just wreaks havoc on the mouth. It really does. So hopefully, though, it's wreaked havoc on everything else too, and you are cancer free.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does. It really, really, truly does. So Dr. B, the dishwasher draws are to send to rotate which one gets filled and run. You can't read that.
No, I can't.
I didn't read it well either.
did.
It's all right. I didn't read it well either. Mike said, I got my black 40-ounce quetcher and it's definitely a different straw. Oh no. I mean, I might have the wrong straw in here today. This might be the straw from the other one, but I think that's the right straw. You love these cups, don't you? You love my cups the most.
Which ones?
All of them.
Emily has a cup habit.
I do not. I don't know what you're talking about. The
There
chat
was-
knows nothing about this. The chat knows nothing about this.
There was supposed to be a rule that if one cup comes in, 2 cups have to go out.
Brian, arbitrary rules are stupid.
No, that was not an arbitrary. That was agreed upon by our entire family because the cups are taking over the house.
Taking over
They
what?
are. The counter, the cabinets. There's not room for anything else.
That's
It's like
hardly true.
It's like Starbucks cups and
Okay,
this
Muffin.
thing. And I mean, look, there's an empty one on the desk.
Look, they can't see if you don't show it to the
I'm
camera.
moving. There's an empty one on the desk.
It's glorious
Look,
and gorgeous.
There's a Starbucks coffee.
That was
the
from Red
Christmas
Cup
mug.
Day.
Here's my whiskey glasses.
That's
here.
your whiskey glass. Those are your glasses. Shade, the shade. We should pop over. I'm going to see if we have any more questions to get to real quick. Tinkle Tits McGee. Tinkle Tits McGee, thank you. I got some 44% carmide peroxide gel. How long can I wear it to keep the enamel safe? I use Pronamel paste too. 44%? Is that 44% bleach?
Yeah, carbamide peroxide.
I can barely do 11 without my teeth
Yeah, I was
hurting.
gonna say, hopefully your teeth don't get sensitive from that. I
I can barely do 11.
I would start out on a very short time frame, maybe
By short, 10, 15
20
minutes.
minutes, and like work up to where you can go. Definitely do use your Pro Enamel. Afterwards, taking your trays out, I assume you're using some sort of tray.
44%.
Take that Pro Enamel, wipe it on your teeth, spit out the excess, and don't
Leave it.
And leave it. 44% is industrial strength.
It's industrial strength. Ash sure said same. Drove 3 hours the night before a wedding I was a bridesmaid in. Left my dress at home. 3 hour trip turned into a 9-hour trip. And there's nothing you can do about a bridesmaid's dress. You just have to dress. You just have to go get that shit. Meg said I planned my 10 reunion, but did not go. Did not really like most of them. 2020 was 30-year missed, but really wanted to go. Many mellowed by 30. And I think that's true. We all mellow a little bit with age. Can you deadlock a Thanksgiving debate? Mouthwash, alcohol or no alcohol, please and thanks. Hubby says yes. I say no. It got heated. LOL. Stina, are you asking if it should have it or if it does have it? I'm going to let Brian answer both.
Are you adding your own whiskey like to your
No.
like- oh, okay,
Does
no.
mouthwash have alcohol or should
My-
mouthwash have alcohol?
I-
Whoa, your brain just
Yeah.
went a
No,
million
no, it
miles a
did,
minute.
it
I need
did.
you to answer.
It did. In
gonna
my
pour some more
practice,
whiskey.
I had 5 patients who had oral cancer that we had no idea where it came from. Basically, when the going through and talking
How
to
does
them,
this connect to mouthwash?
I'm getting there. That one of the only potential etiologies for that was that it was alcohol-based mouthwash. So in the cancer studies, it is very clear that, and sorry, I know I'm digressing here a little bit.
Yep.
Tobacco use plus alcohol is a really bad combination for causing cancer. The two work very well. They work together to cause cancer.
Exacerbate the
Yeah.
problem.
So getting back to these 5 patients who had cancer, who had no previous history of smoking, nothing like that. Alcohol mouthwash was potentially the thing. They were all HPV negative as well. Kind of started leaving to believe, we're like, okay, this really is not the best thing to be having in a mouthwash. Plus, my other thought always is if the alcohol kills the bacteria, how does it not kill my own cells? How is it not affecting my own tissues? And then that's really how I started to change my thought. So if you are using mouthwash to give yourself fresh breath, it's essentially it's kind of like window dressing. It really helps for a little bit. If you really want fresh breath and you want things to be clean,
Tongue scraper.
Get a tongue scraper.
Get a tongue scraper.
Yeah, get a tongue scraper. That is the best way to take care of things. Mouthwash is just kind of window dressing.
Yep.
It's just the fun fluff stuff at the end of brushing and flossing.
There's fun fluff stuff at the
Yeah.
end of brushing and flossing.
It's called mouthwash.
We don't have
Alco-
fun fluff
alcohol
stuff at the
free.
end of.
Alcohol free.
But also, you can xylitol gum for breath, xylitol
Yes.
breath mints for breath,
Uh-huh.
tongue scraping, water picking, Have we gone over all the oral hygiene things?
Yeah.
Pretty Mama Bear said, I'll stick to my Spry dental products. Love the toothpastes and mouthwash. We've used Spry and like them too. Y'all know that I'm sponsored by Quip because I like them too. The family really enjoys the Quip gum and the Quip toothpaste. But yes, stuff with xylitol in it. Take a look. We're going to have to do an Ask a Dentist stream. Pookie Woozy said, I have a CPAP and clench my jaw. Suggestions to help me not clench. You can get an oral appliance. Any other suggestions to not clench with a CPAP?
So if you're on a CPAP, hopefully you've had a follow-up sleep study to verify that you're not having apneic events. Because if you are still clenching, that could be an indication that you are still having apneic events. Also, unfortunately, if it had been a period of time before you went on a CPAP and you had a jaw clenching history, your muscles may have a muscle memory and they just continue that process that when you lay down, your brain's like, oh shit, we can't breathe. We got to activate these muscles to try and keep your airway open. Sometimes a combination of a dental appliance, one that holds your jaw forward for specifically sleep apnea, can actually help reduce that. I will tell you, I wear both. I actually use a CPAP and I wear a dental device as well. I have an airway that is about the size of a pencil.
That is way TMI for the
I
internet.
know. Well, I figured if someone would ask that question, I wanted to give
All the information.
some good advice because, yeah, that I used to destroy night guards in a short period of time. I would have to reline them. I would break them. I had a night guard that was in 3 pieces because I couldn't get a new one for a period of time. Yeah, there's got to be reasons why. And then once you verify that all of your airway, everything is good, you are still breathing, this may be that time where a little Botox to go in and reduce some of that muscle activity, but you've got to go through all the other things first and verify.
So we have to give a huge thank you. Hempland, Texas sent many of our members memberships. I saw that you put a chat in the chat that you just lost your husband on Saturday. I am so sorry. I know you've been on the channel forever and ever. So my heartfelt condolences for your loss. I am so sorry. We're gonna raise one up to you and to your hubby. Life can take unexpected turns, and it is one of the worst things. It always feels worse, like the bad is worse sometimes when it happens right around the holidays. So I'm so sorry for your loss, but thank you for letting us know in the chat, because sadly, the law nerds are no strangers to loss. So not cheers, but thoughts to you and your family. So we are going to, well, I'm basically drinking second drink. We're going to speed run, Dr. B, some super chats.
All right.
Enchanted Wing said, don't worry, between studying for a master's, working as a student mentor, being a class rep, and working on a weekend and maintaining my sanity. Good for you.
Well done.
Excuse me, said, I spent Thanksgiving with my brother, whose housemates rescue orphan raccoons. I met 5 baby trash pandas yesterday. I mean, okay. Renee said, one time, not at band camp, I woke up in my tent with a skunk standing on my chest and staring into my eyeballs. My soul would have left my body. I don't know what I would have done. Because what do you do? They're skunks.
Frozen in fear.
Yeah, and then they're going to melt your face off with skunk stink. Crazy. You two are cute. Thank you. I don't know if everyone agrees. Love you two streaming together. So does Dr. B. No, so do all of us.
Thank you, Lightning. What? Next question. He's not going to talk with the voice changer on, y'all. Maybe that's what it is. Question.
Is Dr. B from Tennessee? I hear a cute little accent. Nope. Dr. B.
I am from the deep south of the South Bay of Southern California.
Yes, he is South Bay Southern.
But even when I was as a dentist and practicing, I had a number of people ask me, they're like, are you from the South?
Yeah, Dr. B's accent hasn't
and
changed.
I'm like, no, why? They're like, well, one, your accent, but they're also like, you're the nicest person I've met. You can't be from here.
This is going to spark a debate, Sarah, that I don't know I can handle. How do y'all eat pumpkin pie without Cool Whip? How do you eat Cool Whip? because we're a negative ghostwriter on that.
I am straight coffee and pie.
Yep, no Cool Whip. No Cool Whip around this house. And
Yeah.
if we do whipped cream, it's definitely not Cool Whip. Cool Whip's its own thing. It's nope, 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 nope.
I've always kept my pie clean. Nope. Nope.
You keep your pie clean?
Pie clean.
Mommy don't know. Sorry. You got to keep your business clean. Tongue scraper or Aura brush. I don't know what an Aura brush is. Do you?
I like a tongue scraper. Sometimes the ideas of the brushes, because of the bristles, you're just pushing the debris back down into your tongue. The first time you take
Quick.
a tongue scraper,
Tongue scraper.
go gently.
Go gently. Go gently.
Yes.
Emily, you need to check out the Balenciaga Bondage Bear Children's Campaign lawsuit. Julie, I didn't know that escalated so quickly into a lawsuit. The Bondage Bear deep dive over on House and Habit, I have looked at. I delete Twitter off of my phone over the holidays, so I've not been on Twitter, which is really hard because Twitter's actually got a lot going on right now. So I find that for me, sometimes it's better to take a step back. Twitter is the first social media I'll step back from, then Instagram, then YouTube. I generally don't take a step back from YouTube and being in people's chats and chatting with y'all, but I have been following along on House and Habit about all of the fallout from the Balenciaga Bondage Bear campaign. I didn't know there was a lawsuit. I will absolutely check that out. Balenciaga makes some questionable choices. It's just those questionable choices shouldn't include children.
I have no idea what this case is, who this is, or what this is about. But when you said the word bondage bear, I'm like, holy shit, what the hell is going on there?
It's not just a big hairy dude.
Well, I thought it was like a group of furries or something, and they had like a whole new subset of stuff going on.
It was
I'm
an
like,
ad campaign with children in it.
Okay. Oh,
Mhm. Dr. B is like, what?
yeah. You were slow on the board over there.
I was real slow on the board. Best
Wow.
piece of relationship advice from each of you, please. Y'all are goals. I don't know about that. We've been through a lot of shit together, and here we are. My best piece of relationship advice: the whole has to be more valuable to both of you.
I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. If you are with that person that is your end in life, meaning that's what you want.
Oh, that's romantic.
Well,
Your end.
meaning
You will be with no one.
meaning I can say I have been with people who I knew was not going to be my life.
I mean, same. I
With?
sorted that out
So
normally inside of a month.
I knew that. So would I say that the you know
The whole,
The whole.
the WHOLE, the whole, like the couple, the relationship has to matter more
than the individual
than the individual parts for both parties.
Yes.
If one party is putting themselves as like me and what I want is more important than the relationship, then the other party is trying to compensate for that. Both parties have to say, this relationship is what I want first. And then when you are in a relationship where the relationship comes first, there is normally a lot of conversation of, I need this right now, or I need this compromise between what the individual parties need to make the marriage work. And it's having those conversations. But yes, all the holes need attention too.
Moving on.
Also, second piece of advice: separate sinks.
Yes.
Separate sinks.
And
Oh.
and in the spirit of Thanksgiving, 2 pumpkin pies.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Finally, figuring out how you guys sleep well together. It's important. We both are in the no touchy at sleepy time category.
Because she's a hot rock. She just radiates body
And
heat
he's
that is
cold.
just unbearable.
Don't touch me when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And so we both are like, we both have our own sleep temperament, and we both keep our sleep temperament. Like, I have to get a good night's sleep. It says nothing about my relationship that I need a good night's sleep. You need a good night's sleep. I
Mhm.
need a good night's sleep. So you do your own thing so that you can get a good night's sleep. No touching. And it works very well. We have our own weighted blankets. We both have our own chili pads, so we can set our beds to the temperatures that work best for us. And that's what it is.
Mhm.
So, yes, the chat's like, go over to Rob's stream. Yes. I mean, you've got to have a similar cuddle. If somebody wanted to touch me all the time when I was sleeping, I would like that's fine. I don't mind when you walk by in the kitchen and smack me on the ass. It's great. I love that the most. But
if I'm asleep,
don't touch me when I'm sleeping.
our child's over there, so watch what you're saying next.
When did you
How
walk
did
in?
you not hear him?
Why are you here? Our teen is sitting in the
whatever-
chair
Whatever the
right
question
over
is, the
there.
answer is yes.
creepily. What do you need?
Yes.
Why are you creeping? He's just creeping in the studio. Why are you creeping?
I need my headphones.
You need your headphones. You're not getting them just yet.
Oh, dang.
Sorry, we'll bring the headphones up soon. All right, we're gonna pop over to Rob's stream real quick and say hi, and then we'll be back. My teen, his eyes are the size of saucers. Why don't you just use a different pair of plug-in headphones temporarily?
I'm sure if people have been here for a while, they know that Emily cannot just say goodbye. How long have we been saying goodbye for? About 20
Okay,
minutes?
hold on. Let me go get him
30
another pair of
minutes?
headphones.
It's pretty amazing that it's always this way.
Do you need
And then
them?
like when we try and leave like our folks'
you.
house or
Bye.
someone's house, it's usually hours
Bye.
that it takes.
It does. It look.
I'm getting to the point where I will sit back down. I'm like, okay, you tell me when we're ready to go. I already got the car loaded.
Look, man. I need to know why my teen's creeping. And yes, our goodbyes take a moment. But we moved my desk chair, my chair that I normally sit in to stream, and he's just sitting over there in the corner staring at us. I don't
He
know.
wants his headphones back because I have them on.
It's Emily does a Midwest goodbye. I do.
Yes.
I do.
Is that
And
what
I
it is?
can't. Yes. I can't even Irish goodbye. I've tried an Irish goodbye once and I walked back in. I was like, I feel bad. I need to say goodbye to everyone. He's like, we're going to be here another hour and a half. Yes. Yes, we are. So what?
I've never heard of an Irish goodbye.
What do you just yeet?
Oh, when you just leave? Like you
Just
don't-
leave. Say
Oh.
goodbye to no one and
Oh.
leave. You just
Oh,
yeet.
I've never heard of that.
Yeet.
Huh. Okay.
Yeet. You just yeet. So thank you all for the super chats. If I didn't get to them, I am sorry. I appreciate all of you. Law Nerds, we're going to go over to Rob's stream. He invited us. He said we could come. Hold on. He said we could come. So we're going to go do that. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have to tell Brian the story of Wood Daddy Stacks once my teen.
You still haven't answered me. Who's Rob?
Well, you can come and find out. We're going to yeet ourselves over there. I put it down below for all of you, so we have it. I'm just letting him know. And you guys can all pounce over there on Law and Lumber. In the transition to get over there, I'm going to pour myself a little more peanut butter whiskey, because why not? I made my teen go to the kitchen and bring it to me. So with that, y'all, we will see you soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being Law Nerds. Thank you for being so welcoming to Dr. B, even when he doesn't look at you in the eye. You know, the man is just not a streamer yet, but we're working on it. And I appreciate you for being here. Thank you, Dr. B.
I appreciate being welcome in, and it was fun being here, and I always enjoy this.
It's so much fun. I love when we get to have a chill, just Q&A stream.
But you're right. I look at you on the screen, and I forget to look up there.
Stop looking at the screen.
I know.
He will. He'll just keep reading the
I
screen.
am so captivated by you.
Trust me.
I'm captivated by you too, darling. What did you say, Travis?
It's difficult not just looking at
Yeah.
Oh no, we have.
I like how he's just pulling up a stool. So
What,
he
you're
can
just
sit.
joining the stream? What are you
Yes.
doing?
Look.
You are
I know
off
I'm not
screen.
in
You need to be here in the middle.
Hello.
So
What are you doing?
he just wants to be here.
I don't know what's happening. We're gonna say goodnight. Law Nerds, thank you for being here. You've got to. We're gonna go join Rob's stream. Okay. We're just what is happening tonight?
I got bored.
You got bored? All right.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being Law Nerds. This is just what's happening now, and we're gonna go introduce my family to Law and Lumber. So I will see you in just a moment over there. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.